I don't have that one written down.
Why not?
Oh, because it's at the very end because that's when I actually learned his name.
Yeah.
I generally try to keep notes in order of non-meta knowledge.
That's interesting. I meta the fuck out of my notes.
Well, in John's campaign, I meta the crap out of them because no one else takes fucking notes. So I needed to write down everything.
Yeah.
There he is.
What's up, dude?
What up, huh?
Yo, what car did you get, or like vehicle, automobile?
Dude, I got this 1992 Ford F-150. That's standard transmission with 70,000 miles on it, dude.
Hell yeah, that's fucking primo.
We're chilling, bro.
Quality shit. Wait, where are you right now? Home?
Mickey's. McDoodlies.
McDoodle Dats. Alright, who's the recapping?
Plus, it's all-wheel drive too, right, Lucas?
Yeah.
All-wheel drive.
Good
Yes,
shit.
sir.
Dude, the three of us in Taylor's
I'll
little
recap.
Subaru Forester driving up to visit you.
Yeah,
Made
dude, that
some
shit was so
interesting points.
funny, bro. Like, just giants getting out of that small-ass car.
You good? Did you say we're live?
Yes, I did.
I can recap.
Can you?
All right, that solves that.
Yeah, let me pull out these notes real quick, bruh.
I mean, with that internet, yes, he can.
Yeah,
Sure.
dude, we gotta take advantage of the fact when I got off mountain to play because you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yes.
Yes, we do
Absolutely.
actually.
Because, dude, when I'm on the mountain, bro, and I'm trying to recap and I try to speak, it doesn't make a dent, bro. Alright, so, last time, in the adventures of Tyria, we got introduced to the 5 characters, the 5 heroes of our story this time around.
Heroes. Whoa. Big assumption there.
I will end you before you say another word, Josh. Do you understand, bro? Okay, so the 5 heroes that we have, how about this? The 5 people that are in, the 5 players in the game. Does that fit you better, Josh? We have Flint, who is he is a high elf gunslinger. We have Darrow, who is a blood cleric.
Tiefling.
I believe a tiefling. Yes, I was getting there. Thank you for interrupting me. Actually, wait on a second.
I win. Distracted.
Yeah, you distracted me. Hold on, no,
we
I'm
have a
actually.
cleric on our team?
Well, he's a blood
Blood
cleric, so let's calm your horses. Then we have Kitty, the Atakora Ranger, who is played by Iga. I play Flint, and Darrow is played by Sean. And then we have Skulker the Rogue, played by Josh, clearly. And then we have Skafa, the Barbarian, played by my father, aka Paul, aka Young Pops. So anyway, everyone kind of started off in their own area. Flint started in a little village right outside, right on the edge of the mountains, where he saved, where he helped this kid named Berto and his family at the gates of Kryta. That's where he is. I get a red iris flower from Berto, and I got a temporary horse that I didn't even get to think about for more than 1 second before he was just magically eradicated from existence. And then we move on to Darrow, who is in a really stingy, kind of seems like an underground bar, where he's dealing with a shady character that we don't really know. His name's Dalton, and we don't really know much about him. But we do know that Darrow doesn't really like to conform to the standards that was given to him, I guess, through this underground network of punks that he's associating himself with. And he seems to not really... He seemed to almost disregard what Dalton was asking of him. He's kind of going his own way, like men go their own way, those awful people. And he leaves, and he also ends up going to, we meet. He ends up walking to, if I can find my notes because I have so many of them because I'm a trash bucket, dude. At Yak's Bend. He ends up going to Yak's Bend, as does Flint, but we'll get there in a second. Then there's Kitty, who is, she lives atop the Shiver Peak Mountains. She has a little dragon whelp, which is, I think the whelp is like, is it blue? Is it blue?
It's
or
white.
White dragon whelp.
It's like white. It's white, and it's like it's pretty frost attuned. So it kind of does like frost breath, like little baby frost drake. And it's very like dog and cat, like very affectionate. And the elder ends up forcing Kitty to choose between putting down the whelp, right, or getting kicked out. And she obviously chooses to get kicked out instead. And we think that the elder, and along with the rest of the Atacor people, are scared of the whelp. And so that's the reason why they either have to put it down or leave with the thing. And so she decides to leave. We have Skulker, and Skulker is an interesting fellow. He likes to compare himself. He is the Sam's Club. He is the he's
The
Sam's
tepid
Club, he's the
off-brand Geralt.
Walmart off-brand Geralt from the Witcher series. He starts out in Wayfarer Foothills. He's basically an alcoholic. And he is, I guess, walking back to his property, and he notices that he gets back in, and then he hears commotion, and there's a bunch of orcs like raiding his house, and he basically says sayonara and torches his entire building with the orcs inside. He basically gets out of the house by going through the window. Oh yeah, because he locked himself out because he's an alcoholic and forgot his keys. So he had to break into his own house by climbing into a window, and he got out the same way. And then, of course, because he's played by Josh, Skulker turned around and watched the orcs burn. So that's fun. And then, last but not least, we have Skatha, who is a dragonborn, which I didn't didn't mention before, but he starts off in the Sparkly Swamp. He's a very large dragonborn. He's on the bigger side of even the race. Basically, he comes back with a... the name that you gave his dad is incredible.
Catronius Souljaw?
Jaw Soul, dude. Come on.
Jaw
let's get it
Soul,
right.
yeah. He's like the village elder, by the way. That is not Skatha's dad.
Oh, I thought it was, dude.
He calls Skatha's son, and like Skatha, like they have the that
Okay,
tribal
I gotcha.
father.
But he's not his actual father.
Yes.
I picked that up, by the way.
Yeah. You role played that very well.
So Skatha's coming back. He has a scale, which is like this lizard-like beast. And most of the Dragonborn, I guess, like hunt these things. I don't know if it's coming an age ceremony or they just kind of just like point of pride, but they hunt them. And the one that Skatha comes back with is like pretty gigantic. So he goes to have a talk with Catronius, and Catronius tells him of a prophecy in which a Dragonborn will unite the race, or unite his people once again, get them back to the old ways, because most of the race have kind of lost their way, and it's going to be through the help of a stranger, through an act of kindness, and he's going to bring peace upon the Dragonborn once again. Something to point out is that Skatha does not believe that he's the fulfillment to the prophecy. However, everyone else does. So then he gets this, in my notes, disgusting looking battle axe. That's a treasure that's been passed down from generation to generation, and the name of that disgusting battle axe is Dorf Urak. So then Skulker and Kiri meet each other in a cave because Kiri's coming down from the mountains and Skulker is an alcoholic, so he just wanders around because he might as well have dementia. And they meet each other in a cave. Skulker asks Kiri if she wants to sell the dragon whelp. Kiri basically spits in his face, but then become friends, and they're talking, and they're holed up in a cavern because it's like, I think it's like snowing really bad outside, and they just want to get away from the elements. Or it's like, I think it's a lightning storm or something. But then eventually, so while that's happening, Flint and Darrow they meet each other in React's Bend. Apparently, so Darrow goes to React's Bend all the time. That's like one of his favorite places to go. He has a lot of the vendors that he knows and he likes and yada yada. But Flint is there and he was looking for ammunition, but he's also, he kind of needs some money, and so he looks and he sees that there's knolls to be had, and then Darrow's standing right next to him at the board. They become friends, and Darrow's like taken aback by the kindness that Flint showed him, because he's very different from the rest of there's only like a few tieflings like ever in existence that people know of, so everyone kind of looks at him like a demon. But Flint doesn't. He sees past race. He just looks at a person, who they are for themselves, to judge them. So becomes friends with them, and then they meet a drunken old fellow named Random Light coming on, making it seem like the cops behind me. Named Bars Darkbeard. He is the proprietor of a charming shop known as Bars, Bullets, and Beer, or BB&B, depending on what part you are from. He is my engineer slash metal worker. He's going to be the one making my bullets, I'm guessing, throughout the majority of this playthrough. And we're going to have a great relationship, and he really wants to shoot preservation. And so while we're talking to him, Skulker ends up finding us, and we kind of say hello. And Skulker realizes that Bars also has a little tavern connected to his metalworking shop, and so Skulker, being alcoholic that he is, gets some alcohol from him, and then the three of us are having a great time, including Bars, and then Bars wants to shoot preservation, but Kitty is very weary, or as Charlie Day would say, wary of people in general, because she is very young in the grand scheme of things, and she's never seen anything but an Arakora before in her life. So she's on the outskirts of Yak's Bend, and I can't remember, was it like, did we hear something, which is why I went, or we were just gonna go shoot them, we were going out to hunt them regardless, and then it ends up that...
So you met up with Skulker, who probably would have gone to meet up with Kiri, because they were traveling together.
And because he doesn't have dementia and would have remembered Kiri.
Yes, Skulker does not have dementia. Also, I'd like to note, it's Bars's Bullets and Booze is the name of the shop, but beer, which is all good. But that is a place that Skulker frequents. He wasn't just passing through. Skulker travels north and south of the wall pretty often, and so he's like familiar with Bars. Like,
so him and Bars are like boys. Gotcha.
Yeah, like that is his default place to get alcohol, to stock up for the road on alcohol.
Oh, okay, that's cool. So then basically we all go out of town to go meet up with Kiri, and there's some gnolls attacking, and Skatha is traveling from the swamp while this is happening, and he sees the gnolls, and then we pretty much fucking ruin those gnolls' whole existence. And then we get all of the player introductions out of the way, and I think that's where we ended the first session.
Yeah, and on a side note, one of the reasons why Kiri stayed in town is she's excited about seeing new things, but she has a dragon in position, which is not a welcome sight most places, or it would be stolen, etc. Because it's expensive.
True chains.
So, we return to our party. We are standing in the middle of the woods south of Yak's Bend. 3 gnoll bounties have just been claimed. Bars is here with you guys. He's a little intoxicated, and everyone has sort of introduced themselves to each other and claimed their bounties. I don't want to be too railroady, so I'm going to ask, where would you guys like to go from here? Or what would you like to do?
Town, bounties, how many no?
3 gnoll tongues.
There were 3. One went to Darrow, one went to Skulker, and one went to Skatha, if I'm not mistaken.
And how much was the bounty?
1 silver per tongue.
Okay.
I did not write that down. Thank you for the recap.
You're welcome.
I did not either. I don't think we
Also,
got it.
fun fact, knoll tongues are black.
Yes, this has been mentioned, but the reminder is needed.
For that flavor.
Did the posting that said 1 silver per knoll tongue say where to turn them in?
Yes, any city will accept a knoll bounty. Because it's a bounty that's been declared by the crown, all cities will collect it.
Understood.
We heading back to town?
Sorry, I'm like choking down food. Question for you, Con.
Yeah.
Where exactly do we hand in the no bounty? Like, at the public
The
office?
magistrate of Yaxbend would be
Magistrate
the
of Yaxbend.
closest guy.
Okay.
I would
gotcha.
not be accompanying them into Yaxbend, obviously, because still dragon.
All right. So, do you want to voice out to the party, just so I can like roleplay off of it, or what? You want to do it in roleplay or what?
So,
The question is like, have you guys
Now-
already like turned these in, or have like, how are we past that point? Where are we in this situation?
I think Connor is leaving us in the exact moment. We have cut the tongues, we stand up,
Yeah.
and we're looking at each other.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to go back to Yaxband. Give these tongues to who wants them to get our money.
But we just left there.
Do you want your money before we leave again, or what?
Well, the tongues do have a tendency to spoil, I guess.
Then it's decided. Does everyone want to go to Yaxband?
I should probably keep the dragon out of the city.
I'll stick with her. Can one of you cash in my tongue for me?
Sure thing, partner.
Maybe
I
get
will go with you, Flint.
Good man, Scotha. I'll enjoy the company.
some intel on the next place to hunt some gnolls.
I think I need to lay down. Bars is just like totally tanked. Like he got pretty sloshed to come out and shoot this gun, so he's not going to be much of a factor in any of the decision making.
Did
I just
did
like-
he get to do that? I don't remember.
He tried. So the outcome of that, and this is something that the party
The gun-
learned, is that
Yeah, the gun can't be fired by anyone other than Flint.
Mhm.
Oh.
All right, so I guess like, so what? So Bars is like laying down. There's right in the middle of the field.
He's not laying down, but he's definitely swaying.
So I guess
Flint, maybe we should help him back. to
yeah,
his
that's what I was gonna
place.
suggest. But I was thinking about maybe you just probably carrying by yourself because you're a beast. And he's like, well, he's dense. Those dense little dwarves, bro.
So Scotha goes over and picks him up and slings him over his shoulder.
Like a sack of potatoes.
Like a sack of potatoes.
And he
Well, then I
kind of
guess
just
that
like
answer- yeah. Well, I guess that answers my
like
next
sort of
question.
just like belches as you like pick him up, and like he's like, I could get used to this.
Completely different from our other dwarf in the other party. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Bars, I see I've been a bad influence on you.
He's already snoring.
He's out cold.
The second he was not accountable for his own gravity, he pretty much passed out.
I know that feeling, man.
Yeah, same. Well, I guess that solves that question. Off to Yaxband we go.
Alright, so you travel for about an hour north. It's now it's like in the early afternoon, we'll call it 2 p.m. You make your way back to town, and in the town square, there's a small, I wouldn't call it a keep, but it is a stone building with 2 floors. It's got shingled roof, a few windows here and there, double door. Darrow, you know this to be the magistrate of Yaxbend because you've claimed a couple bounties here before. The magistrate himself is named Rarnet Greybrand, and I'll type that out for you guys.
So I don't
He is a
butcher the
half-elf?
spelling.
With one of his ears has been like cut pretty close to the base. He's usually seen in like not extravagant, but like nice cloth clothing.
So, Scatha is wondering where to drop this dwarf off. So, gentlemen, before we go to the magistrate to collect our money, where shall we put this young man?
DM, is BB&B on the way to
Yep, it's
the
at the edge of
magistrate's
town.
office?
Yeah, you could. I mean, it'll be like a
We could drop
3-minute
him
walk.
back at his shop.
Just spike him through the window.
Well, he might wake up kind of feeling bad, but that would make him
No,
feel worse.
I'm just kidding. Well,
Where
I
are you
guess
setting him down?
Well, I guess we should probably bring bars back to his shop.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
I think the door's open.
He doesn't usually lock it.
All right then.
So the front door is unlocked, but the problem is this is a house built for a dwarf, and
Yeah,
Scatha is very much not a dwarf. However, if you're standing on your tiptoes, you could ease him in through the top window.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Just
Alright.
throw him in. Ease him in. Ooh.
So
He's
I'm
still
going to
wearing
ask you
his
to roll
shoes,
me a
so-
sleight of hand check, and regardless of the outcome, you will get him inside. It's just a question of how smoothly you set him.
All right, Pops, here we go, baby. Doesn't really matter what you roll, but let's roll. Let's roll
So,
high.
where would that be under? Slide
Open
hand.
your-
There it is. I got it.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
All right, he tucks him in nicely. He sort of just slides him in like a video game cartridge as far as his back is up against the wall, and you hear the peaceful snoring of a dwarf from the top floor of the house. The rest of the day is yours to do with what you wish.
Nicely done. This way to the magistrate.
That's some fine shooting, Scatha. Let's go.
Some
Thank you,
fucking
Flint.
shooting. All right, so you make it to the door of the magistrate. It is currently closed. Not like the doors are closed. It is not closed for business, but like, are you knocking or would you prefer to just open?
It's a public office, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're walking.
More, I just wanted to see if you guys would fall for the noob trap of knocking.
No.
That's something I would do in real life. So I don't know.
Show the door your invitation, Connor.
Yes,
We knocked
precisely.
with the DMV? No. Go right in.
Yeah, see, exactly, dude. See, we got wisdom in this party. You know what I'm saying? We got 55 years of full-blooded wisdom, dude. We ain't falling for none of your scams, Con.
All right, so you enter, and there's a human sitting at a small desk in the antechamber to like the rest of the building. This room is about 20 feet wide. You see, there's a couple shelves with some books. There's a small like desk and with like an inkwell and a quill, and you see like some books are set on it, and this guy's just sitting there and he's kind of just like writing. He looks up, and you see like his eyes are kind of trailing across all your faces, and you can see that he kind of like lights up, not like in a visibly friendly kind of way, but more of just in a recognition kind of way when he sees Skulker and Darrow. He's like, ah, you two. Good to see you're still
Skulker's not
kicking.
there.
Skulker isn't here?
It's just
No,
that.
he's
Forgive me.
he's chilling with
It was the side comment of you making a joker towards the rest of the party that made him
Oh.
like that.
Ah,
Yes.
word up. So when he sees Darrow, he says, ah, well, you're still kicking, I see. And you got some friends.
Yeah.
How can I
it's
help you
kind of
today?
hard to kill me. We've come to turn in some knoll tongues. Saw the posting on the board, figured this was the place to go. It was right outside the gate there.
You know, knoll tongues seem to be your specialty, don't they, Darrow? Well, I don't know if I'd call it a specialty, but you've cashed in a decent amount of these so far.
I have been quite fond of trade, of collecting them recently.
Okay.
Jeez.
So we need
Oh, so it goes right in there?
there's gonna be 1 silver per tongue, and he hands each of you one. Actually, wait, you're cashing in for?
Oh, I see.
Skulker?
This is-
Josh.
Yo, hold on, Connor. Yo, Dad. If you're on
Okay,
Discord,
thank you. Perfect. All right, I will use it. Thank you.
Yo.
I'm sorry?
Dude.
I understand. DirecTV. Gotcha.
Darrow, are you cashing in Skulker's bounty for him?
No,
Okay.
I am.
Flint. Okay.
Uh,
So then
yeah,
he's going to hand each of you one silver coin.
Game with my son.
So he's
Yo.
going to hand each of you one silver coin, and he's going to say, "Well, you boys are in for hunting gnolls. There's some recent developments you might be interested in."
that was going to be the next thing we asked.
Yeah.
That's very good information to share there.
And what might that be, my dear friend?
Well, lately the people of Greenwich have had an issue
Greenwich.
where it is the next village to the east. It's labeled
No, I know.
B on the
I'm
map.
just writing it down.
There have been complaints of gnolls in the catacombs underneath the church, or underneath Greenwich Abbey. There's like, and he goes on to explain to those of you who aren't familiar with Greenwich Abbey, there's a large network of catacombs under this town that kind of give way into just the Underdark itself. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Underdark out of character, it's basically an underground network of caverns that is almost like an entirely different world underneath the surface world. But he goes on to tell you that there have been reports of gnolls coming up from the catacombs inside the abbey. Since then, the abbey has been abandoned and like blocked in, like from the outside. The town itself still is like there though. People just like avoid the abbey now. This has been happening over the last few days.
Sounds right up our alley. Thanks for the information, good sir.
You're welcome. Have yourself a great day. Be careful out there.
I'm just typing in. There's the. Okay. So I guess we'll walk out the door the same way we came in.
If you'd like to, sure.
But I guess we will be going to Greenwich then.
Sounds like a good idea, of any. We got nothing else to do.
Yeah,
Unless you have something more pressing.
No. Getting away would sounds like a great idea.
I agree. Being a drifter for the last 100 years.
I usually do these kind of excursions and huntings on my own, but a network of tunnels underneath the city sounds like a lot single person to handle here.
We should go pick up the other two first, right?
That's a fine idea.
It might be considered rude to leave them there.
Especially since I got Skulker's silver in my hand. I ain't the type of man to just walk off another man's property. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's rather noble of you.
Alright, so Skulker and Kiri weren't as far from town as they were last time. Now that they're a little bit like more at ease and they know they have allies returning back to them, so it only takes you about a half hour to walk outside of town to where they are currently. No one in that time disturbed them. Like, the woods around Yaxbend really don't get much travel. The highlight of this area is the fact that it is basically the gateway to the rest of the world. Granted, you have to cross the Shiver Peaks to get there.
They're in the woods to the west of Yaxbend, right?
Kind of like the southwest, but yeah.
Okay. Just context note, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I think I see them over there. Are they on the ground, or did they go back up in the trees? Because I think Carrie was hiding in the trees last time we met her.
Skulker would probably still be on the ground.
Yeah, we
Carrie,
were.
where are you?
I'd be on the ground with the dragon probably. He's running around in the grass and I'm playing with him.
You see Anzu, he's still got that same playful nature about him, but he does realize that you were just attacked not too long ago. You can see he's going about things tentatively. You can also tell he has a certain degree of intelligence to him because, he's looking around, he's studying his surroundings, and, he is still doing, playful, almost chirping, noises, but you can tell they're quieter than, he is restraining himself in the moment. Maybe out of fear, maybe out of knowledge, who knows, but he's like clearly aware of what just happened.
So, would you care to explain, or would you like me to do it?
So, well, as we walk up, Flint makes eye contact with Skulker and says, "Hey, Skulker, I do believe this is yours." And he like flips him the coin.
I don't
for you?
catch it.
That's
I
for you,
bubble it.
Wait, hold on. Can I? No, let me roll. Let me roll. I like roll high. I just like slide it into your breast pocket, like from 5 or 6
Fuck
feet
no,
away.
you don't. Personal space, bitch. No.
No, like I flip it into your breast pocket is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
He is a gunslinger, so he is dexterous AF.
It was a solid flip. It was right for me, but I still fumble it. Like, honestly,
Fucking nat 1, dude.
yeah, if you had anything short of a nat 20, like, I'm dropping that.
Yep.
Alright, that's fair.
Ha.
You see Anzu kind of like pounces at the coin like as it hits the ground, but like doesn't actually eat it. He's not really sure what it is he's looking at.
I wouldn't lick that. People put those in bad places.
Dragon just looks up at you questioningly and just like tilts its head, kind of like you're not even sure if it can really understand you, but it recognizes that you're talking to it.
I
I look at it and tilt my head the opposite way.
I try to take the coin.
Kiri would like walk over and pick Anzu up off the ground and kind of just like should pick him up by his shoulders and kind of take him like close to her chest and hold him almost like perpendicular, like a parallel to her body, so that his like little feet are hanging down.
So, Kiri, was it?
Yeah.
Well, we found a place to go kill more of these gnolls and make more money. Skulker seems to be in the business of making money, and we would like to go there as well. Called Grendich, that's to the east of here. You seem rather cautious of your dragon, and looking as I may, I tend to know places that we can navigate to have less eyes than usual. It would probably be better for you to come with us, because we're going to be going into tunnels underneath the city to kill gnolls and have a lower chance of escape if we get surrounded. So more bodies to help us in killing them would be very beneficial.
No. As long as me and Anzu are safe, I don't see why not.
The more people we have, the safer we will be.
That's good to hear, Kiri. We'll be glad to have you along.
She nods to both of them.
Are there any last-minute preparations any of y'all need to do before we head out of here? Could be a while before we come back around to Yaxband.
How long of a journey?
It would take you a day and a
Here to-
half. So if you
Okay.
left now, you would get there on the morning of 2 days from now.
Right, and we'd be camping somewhere along the road on the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I probably know a decent spot to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's settled. Let's go.
All right. Any last minute supplies anyone wants to pick up?
Let me check the inv. Let me check the Tory right quick, Moms.
I don't think I grabbed my stuff before heading out, so I will do that. I'll just pass through town, grab the stuff
you
in my
want
room, and
rations?
go out.
Connor, would it be easier to pass? You said we're like the southwest, so we have to go through town anyway, right?
You could circumvent the town. if
Could
you
go
want.
around
Oh, yeah,
town,
true.
or we could go through.
All right. Well,
I would prefer, if you may, to stay out of town.
Yeah, that was my feeling.
Daryl, why don't you just meet us around the other side of the town?
Okay. Anyone want me to get things for them from the town?
I'm good.
Question for GM.
What's up?
Do we have rations?
Yes. What's it called? You
Didn't
guys
we
took
all?
adventurers packs?
Yeah, didn't we all
Yes.
start off with some packs?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the packs. Shit.
I started with
So
the Dungeoneers one, but I think that comes with rations also.
Okay. I forgot to look those up. Here we go.
Oh,
Nothing for me.
That's all
I
good.
got my
Yeah,
cask of
all
booze.
the packs. Everyone in the party either took an adventurers pack or a Dungeoneers pack, and they both come with 10 days of rations. And we'll just assume that that's what you'll start the game with. We won't count for like the travel time. you guys
okay.
made.
I don't have one of those packs,
A
so
burglar's
You
pack
do
or an
now.
explorer's
Or
pack?
wait, did you go
I
with a third
do.
kind of pack?
it's a different kind of pack. I got it was like the holy whatever.
Yeah.
Does it not come with rations?
It does not. I have candles, incense, a censer, a chest,
Guess
a
you're
holy
eating
symbol,
candles.
some holy water.
Then you, my friend, need some rations.
It does appear to be so.
Darrow, if it's only a day and a half out, I can spare you some of mine.
Yeah, we can share.
Very kind of you. I would appreciate that. But I still need to go gather some of my things. I didn't expect to be leaving immediately, as odd as that was.
We'll meet you on the southeast side of town. We'll meet you on the southeast outside of town. There we go. Can't fucking speak.
Yep. I trust I'll be able to find you easily enough. So I'll cut through the town, go up, and get my things from the room. Probably go in through the upstairs window, not going through the main room for risk of running into Dalton or the boys again, and skulk back out.
So wait, you're scaling the side of the inn?
I imagine that if I've been there any amount of time, I do this pretty often.
Give me a dex save, baby. Athletics?
Just roll me straight strength.
Strength.
Below
So it
average.
takes you a little longer than usual. Takes you about like a solid 25 seconds to get up the wall. Ideally, you like to have it quick, down to 10 tops. But today, you're a little tired. You fought, you've been walking around, you made some new friends. Big day. But you make it inside, and you do not believe anyone saw you.
I throw my things in my chest, lock it up, put the leather straps on it, haul it up on my back, and head out.
You head out through the window also?
Yeah.
Alright. So, we see Darrow leave the same way he came in. You stay at this tavern pretty much whenever you're in Yaxbend also, I take it?
Yeah.
So you pay, before you leave?
I pay.
Or,
I
you
pay
at
in the
beginning?
mornings. I pay the mornings. That was part of my breakfast routine.
Okay,
When I put coin down on the table before walking out.
cool. Alright. So, make me a perception check, please.
Who?
Darrow.
Who you?
Ew. He's nice with it.
So, give me just a second in the wrong Discord DJ channel. You get a brief glimpse of a hooded figure studying you from across the town. Or rather from as you're nearing the gate, you see someone on sort of towards the edge of the town square, just watching you. You can tell that he's studying you specifically. However, you don't recognize this person. He's
No
in
recognizable symbols, colors, markings.
black cloak.
Okay.
It's a human, also. He doesn't make any moves towards you. He's merely just watching.
Okay. Not atypical.
Yeah, I was gonna say most people tend to kind of stare the first time they see you. They can't help it. Humans.
Yep. I will keep my sixth sense up to see if I can notice that that look of people watching you continues as I kind of go out. Maybe every once in a while, kind of checking behind me to see if I can still see the figure following me.
Surely. So you exit the town uneventfully. Would you like to inform the party of the fact that someone was watching you, or would it kind of be like a people watching all the time? Let's see if it develops into
It's a little different that someone was trying to hide the fact that they were watching me, as opposed to, Mommy, look at that strange man. Don't look at the devil.
So we're all united with the party. We're just south of the road to the east of Yaxbend.
Darrow has a wooden chest on his back that are like the size of his shoulder blades. It's like you can't see it looking dead at him, but if you're behind him, you can see he's carrying a fucking chest.
Darrow, did you run into any problems while you were down?
People stare. No one really found me going in and out, but people always stare. Might want to watch behind us in case anyone's trying to follow, though.
That's a good idea. I'll trail.
All right, and we make our way east.
Are we taking the main road?
Are you taking the main road, or would you like to travel off-road?
Well, the intention was to travel the main road. This really isn't that much of a high frequency.
You might run into a couple parties here or there, maybe a traveling merchant or an adventuring party, but it's not like a high traffic road by any means.
Right. And usually you can see people coming, so you have a bit of time to hide things that you need to hide.
Okay. Well then.
Would you like to make some room for Anzu in your backpack?
Well, he's got like a pouch that I put him in. Like I have like a leather, kind of like a, what do you call those, like swaddles that you have like.
Those
carrying him like
things
a papoose?
that they're like it's the moms have that's like across the chest. It's not like a side set. It's not like a side messenger bag. It's like a chest.
Oh, a front messenger bag, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really a messenger bag though. It's kind of like
no,
a
it's
sling.
it's kind of like a
wraps
piece of
around
cloth
her
that's like
chest.
part of the armor that he just like kind of like if you put like a dragon in it per se, or like anything else that like it kind of would just be like wrapped in it, so it kind of disguises the fact that something's there, but you see that something's in it.
It's like a little baby hammock for little baby
Yeah.
Anzu.
Baby.
Word.
Swaddle.
Alrighty. Don't mind me just rolling some stuff. Alright.
Great.
You make it through the night. Or rather, you make it to nighttime with no incident whatsoever. Not even another traveler on the road.
Fucking nat 20, dude.
So it is now. We're also for scale or like for reference, traveling edge to edge on this map would take you about a week's time on foot.
I think we should take shifts and stand guard.
Hold on a second. That might be unnecessary. I'm checking something out real quick. Give me a sec.
Oh, the Elven Trance thing.
Yeah. So
basically, it just means you need to like meditate for 4 hours.
Yeah, but I remain semi-conscious. So let me ask you a question: would I be able to detect like things happening while I'm in this trance? Like if
Basically, because it's semi-conscious, it would be like roll me perception, but at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So you can man half the watch by yourself,
Yeah,
but
'cause
the
I
other
only
half needs people.
Wait,
Well, I only need-
sun's
I
down
only
for the 8 hours?
I only need 4 hours to do it, while you guys need 8 for a long rest. So
Yes. A long rest doesn't equate to time sun is down. It's just 8 hours of rest.
right.
But marching and traveling in the dark, depending on if Connor is following those rules, is considered a force where if you continue walking in the dark past days of travel, you will have to take exhaustion points or roll the possibility of them.
What if you start at night?
I
As long as you're starting from a full rest, the exhaustion rule is negated.
If
It's
you
like,
wake
if you've
up
been
at
marching all
sunset.
day and you guys are being chased by something, it's like we have to keep pressing on. Like the following morning, you're rolling exhaustion checks.
Okay, gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. If you want to man half the watch, then we can.
Yeah, I guess I can
do
just
hour shifts for the rest.
Yeah. Something that's not well known to most folk is that us elves don't really need to sleep. I can pretty much watch by myself the majority of the time. I just need about 4 hours of meditation, and then I'm good to go for another 18 hours.
Okay,
Whoa.
Flint, I'll take the first watch. Someone else, you'll take the last 4 hours.
20 hours. Sorry.
I was going to suggest that, Scotha. It's a great idea. I find it's very hard to wake up once I've been asleep. It's a lot easier to stay awake.
Jesus.
2 pounds.
2 pounds? Jesus Christ.
A liter of water weighs 2 pounds.
Yeah. But I think he has more than a fucking... I think he's in a mini cask. What is that,
Well,
like?
it depends on if it's
Like
magical.
2 handles?
It depends on if it's magical or not.
There's not enough alcohol for the night? Jesus Christ.
It's like 10 pounds. You can carry it. You also travel pretty light, so it's like Skulker, I'd imagine, accounts for the weight of alcohol when he's packing the rest of the stuff.
Like a true alcoholic would.
So with this rest thing, if you guys are taking 2-hour watches, you're gonna need a 10-hour rest frame instead of a 8-hour rest frame. Only because
if we take 1 hour watches, then
then you just need a 9-hour frame.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could work.
so we'll do 9 hours.
All right, give me the watch order.
So it'd be Scatha, me, then I guess up to Kiri and Skulker, who would do second or third and fourth, and then Flint will cover the last couple hours.
6. Or...
Skulker will take the darkest time of night, so third, I guess.
No, that would be 4th.
So
Alright.
I'll go after Darrow. Yeah.
That looks like the correct order.
Connor, would you stop, dude? I want some action, bro.
So, the night passes uneventfully. The wind is whistling through the trees. It's a bit of a windy night. We wake up. We see that the weather from yesterday. Again, we are in early spring, so we're starting to see like warmer days beginning. We had a beautiful day yesterday on the day where everyone met. However, today we can see that there's a storm coming in from the Shiver Peaks. It'll be coming up behind you guys as you travel. But good morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. It is a beautiful day in Tyria. Did y'all sleep okay?
Everyone's just like, fuck.
Like,
You can be anything you want in D&D. I want to be groggy when I wake up.
no, Kiri's
I want
already
any
like
character.
energetic and playing with Anzu. They're already like at it, like as you would imagine children when they wake up. They're just like already at it.
So-
I am not a morning person.
So Flint like looks at everyone waking up, and wait, Dad, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Scatha would be up like half hour to an hour earlier than everyone else, and like doing push-ups and shit. Or no?
Yeah, Scott definitely
All right.
doesn't need a lot of sleep.
Like
Father
father
likes
like
son.
son.
Martial discipline.
Yeah.
Like father
So
like
wait,
son.
so yeah, exactly. So Flint like looks at everyone when they wake up, and he looks over at Kiri and he goes, "Hey, Miss Kiri, I got a kind of a personal question that I've wanted to ask you, if you don't mind.
And she kind of like stops playing and like looks concerned over to him, and nods over. And she's like, "Yes, of course."
How old are you?
I'll be 4 this year.
Well, that makes a lot more sense. All right, then.
So, in the morning, before everyone else wakes up, Scatha and Flint, is there anything you guys talk about? Albeit probably quietly, so as not to wake everyone else.
Yeah, so like Flint, towards like in the beginning of the watch, like when there's still a while before the sun is going to crest the horizon, he remains hyper vigilant. But as it's getting closer and closer to the sun rising and visibility becomes easier, I mean, even though I have dark vision, it's still easier to see in the daytime. Mm-hmm. He would take out preservation and he would start cleaning it and just like oiling it and just like making sure it's good to go. Mm-hmm. And so I'm guessing like as he's doing that, Scatha probably wakes up. Yeah. And Flint would look over him and goes, "Well, you're an early riser, aren't you, Scatha?"
Yes, Flint. Do not need a lot of sleep.
Judging by that axe on your back, seems like you have some mighty fine discipline to keep yourself being able to wield it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. It's been cutting out on me.
Is it me?
I don't know. I think it might be me.
Your sentence was clear. I heard you.
Okay. Cool. So I just asked that because like my internet's so bad when I'm on the mountain that literally nothing I say ever comes through in a full sentence. So I'm always just nervous. So your discipline must be mighty fine if to wield that axe you got on your back.
I'm sorry, guys. It's cutting. For some reason, mine is cutting out again. I heard
you must have discipline, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have discipline, right? Okay. Well, all right. Don't let me keep you from your morning routine.
No, that's all right. Thank you. Just need to clean my axe. And I also like to play a little music to start the day quietly to myself.
Hey, there you go.
So Scatha takes out his lute and starts tuning it a little bit, then goes into a little tune quietly. And it's more like he uses his lute in the morning, more like a spirit prayerful type thing. Get his head right for the day.
Cool. Oh, so kind of like centering yourself.
Dude. Yes.
Dad, you're like both, right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
So Flint, watching Scatha do this, and especially the precision he's able to play with, where he's playing quietly enough where your elven ears can hear it, but everyone else is sleeping, you realize he's pretty good at playing this instrument.
Yeah, Flint like chuckles to himself, and he goes, "You know, Scatha, most people, when they take a look at you, just see some big brute without the ability to dexterously manipulate that instrument you got in your hands. But god damn, you know how to play." Where'd you learn?
Thank you, Flint. I've been playing since I was a little kid. And I learned from my dad. It's the type of thing that settles my mind and makes me dream of what our race can be.
Well, that's mighty inspiring. The lute doesn't seem like such a dragonborn instrument, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, it was years ago. Dragonborn were known for their lute playing and their merrymaking and their joy of life. But over the years, our race has diminished. Now they're just known as a brooding race of people who just stay to themselves and just try to get by.
Well, I'm thoroughly impressed with your ability to play that instrument.
Well, thank you. And I've never seen one of those. What do you call them? Firearms?
Oh, this? Oh, yeah, this is preservation. This is my baby.
What type of magic is that?
No magic, my dear Scatha. This is all dwarven ingenuity. This is a mechanical piece of equipment. Like your battle axe. It's got a little bit more complicated parts.
Okay.
Don't let anybody tell you that they made this or they know how to make something like this, because they don't. Only one person knows how to make this.
Who's that?
A very old friend. His name is Abinthy.
And like as the word Abinthy is leaving his lips, we hear Anzu let out a large and like sort of like sneezes, and like a little bit of the air in front of his mouth crystallizes, and you see that like he doesn't have the same quietness that you have been having during this conversation, and we see like the other members of the group kind of start to stir from their rest.
Well, I guess everyone else is awake. Let's go see how they're doing.
So Scatha puts his loot away.
Darrow leans up at the waist, like zombie rising from the graves, then hit like coffee.
Coffee a thing in my world? Yeah, fuck it.
Dirty bean water.
Dirty bean water.
But
Well,
you know
tea,
who you'd have
tea
to
at the very
find?
least has got to be.
Tea is ubiquitous. Many different cultures have many different kinds of tea, but if you want coffee, you have to seek out a gnome.
I'll then say, right, no coffee. Tea, maybe I have that. And inchworm my way over towards the chest.
Like face on the ground, like ass in the air, kind of just like.
Yep. And I'll start to repurpose the sensor over a small fire and start to make hot water for tea.
I would imagine that like Anzu like was standing up, kind of like when he sneezed, and
He like sneezed himself awake. Like, have you ever seen a dog like fart itself awake?
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of like that.
So I imagine like Kiri would wake up pretty quickly, birds in the morning, but she would like immediately pull like Anzu towards her and kind of like playfully like pull him towards her and like already start kind of playing like / wrestling with him.
All right, it's like, oh, I'm awake. Oh, you grab, wrestle,
Yes.
try to get away. No, you can't get away from me.
Yeah.
That's an energetic little pup you got there, Tyria.
Yep. I hope it keeps up like that. It means he'll salty.
Are you just Daenerys? Is that really what you are? Like, we have like Mother of Dragon like chilling in our party?
Maybe.
Mother of Dragon.
The bird, the mother of dragons.
Maybe I was foreshadowing, Connor. You don't know. You ain't the DM. You don't know shit, bro. No, I'm sorry.
What?
It's okay.
We've
I
been
take
better.
like 10 psychic damage IRL. I mean, she did not birth Anzu. She just found him. So, like, he definitely, like, she saved him. He was crushed, basically, and would have just starved to death, like, while he was pinned under a rock, unless he, like, ate his wing off or something like that. But,
Dude, all right, I'm not gonna. Yeah, word.
yeah.
So how long do you think it would take everyone to like get ready in the morning?
Like a half hour. Not much. We'd call it 9 o'clock right now.
I have rolled up my bedroll, stuffed it back in the chest, and I'm walking around with the sensor, And a mug. Like, tea. 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 Anyone want some tea?
His
know
tea
what,
actually
Daryl?
smells pretty good.
I'll take some tea.
Kiri would like hop over, very excited. She's like, she would love to try some. I don't imagine like she would have the type of tea that you have, or if any tea up in the mountains.
Oh yeah, they have tea.
Not the type of tea that he does, though, right? You said
Not
they
that
have
you've never
specific-
smelled tea like this.
Yeah.
It's got a sweet. It almost smells like cinnamon and like earthy kind of. It actually it's like slightly sweet. So you like, I'd imagine like you guys like maybe take a deep breath or something like from the cup and like, it smells good, or like, I don't know.
So
But
like,
if you were to sip it, it actually tastes pretty bitter. It
Well,
smells
hold on.
much better than it tastes.
that's what I was gonna say, dude. Flint was gonna take a cup and like drink it and just go. He's gonna go. What the Gwent? Like his accent, it goes into like Elvish, and he just starts cursing, and he goes, oh damn, Darrow, you call this tea? He's like, this isn't tea.
It's a side effect of how it's dried. It's dried not very well, and it's not that expensive, and it's also made in a repurposed censer. This censer is also kind of used for rituals and practices, and
Well, I feel like
yeah.
the only reason why Flint would have that reaction is because he's a high elf and he's been drinking like the best tea known to man for like 100 years.
Yeah.
All right. It's like the first time he's tried tea since he's
Yeah,
left.
there's like California weed, and then there's like Mexican fucking
Dark
like,
weed, yeah.
yeah.
Where like you buy an ounce and 5 grams of that ounce are just seeds.
Mm. It also costs the same as a tenth.
Yeah. All right.
Kiri would like
And then-
think it's delicious because it's new to her and she's excited.
Mm-hmm.
And then Flint just like takes the rest of it like a shot.
That's the way.
And he goes, next time you offer me tea, I'll make sure not to drink it for the taste.
It's more of a ritual of wake up, drink something warm, kind of coax myself into being alive.
So you see Skulker like hasn't stirred like this entire time, and then like just spontaneously just like goes from laying down to like squatting in like one like roll off of his back, and is like packing his shit with like a swift but like calm pace, practiced pace.
Are you just a Pandarian brewmaster? Is that what you are?
Skulker?
Yeah.
What? Pandaren brewmaster. It's up to you, Josh. Do you want to be a panda?
No, I just meant like that. Remember that unit in Warcraft 3? Like, I feel like that's what
Oh, it would like
is.
roll.
No, but like, he just like is drunk all the time, but he's like a monster in combat.
I mean, I think that's what Josh was going for, if I'm not mistaken. Drunk all the time, but a monster in
Wait, did I
combat.
not say? Did I say Sean? No, I said Josh.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
said
you said
Josh.
Josh.
No, Connor
Yeah.
also said Josh.
Yeah, that's what I. That's what. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's
How
what
are
I
you,
feel like
Josh?
he is, dude.
Yeah. Wasn't
No,
going
this-
for a panda,
Yeah,
but
no.
all the other
Skulker
like,
knows
the size
exactly
is
get ready,
I'm not
so he just waits the very last minute.
yeah. I'm definitely not fluffy. I'm definitely still scraggly, scruffy. But beyond that, all the other things you've described are on point. So
Yeah. I didn't mean like an actual panda. That's just a unit from Warcraft that
okay, so then
gets drunk and is a monster in combat. That's
more like a wet panda. Like when all the fur is not so fluffy anymore. It's just,
Dude, you're like a panda bear without any of its fur. You ever see that video of the black bear? That's like.
Oh my god, stop. Terrifying.
Nope, definitely hairy.
I know not of what these panda things are.
All right, we'll initiate you later, Sean. In the meantime,
Roll initiative?
What?
Oh, initiate. Never mind.
yeah.
No, Darrow does not know what not Darrow. Yeah, Darrow does not know what a panda is, so he's confused and wishes to move on to kill things.
Same. See, Flynn seconds that.
Alright, Kiri, roll me a d20.
Can do.
jeez. She's gonna nat 20, bro. I swear she nat 20s, dude.
Nope.
Well, now you just jinxed it.
Right? Fuck
We
off.
out.
How did you roll the one I wanted you to roll? I wasn't anticipating doing this one this early.
Because I'm
Okay.
a master. That's why.
So now we're into your journey. You're walking along the road, and you see an adventuring party, there's a small bend in the trees, and you can see, like, the next straightaway on the road, and you see that there's an adventuring party walking towards you.
How do we know they're an adventuring party?
A group of non-human individuals armed. But, like, you can, like, see that they're kind of, like, fucking around with each other.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it could be a band of mercenaries.
Could be.
Generally, if they enjoy each other's company, they're friendly. If they care less about each other's company, they're being paid to be together. I
That's true.
generally am in the being paid to be together company.
So,
Kira would obviously like attempt to stay out of sight / hide the
do you think
dragon.
Yes,
Flint,
that is
you
a
think-
great
you
idea.
think Flint is leading the party right now? Probably, right?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Darrow is a moving shadow.
All right. Yeah. So,
I'm a flying shadow.
I almost feel like the orientation of our group right now is like Flint with like Scatha like behind him off to the right like a little bit, and then Skulker's behind, or like maybe even abreast with Scatha, and he's like trying to hide that he's taking shots, but like we all know that he is, but we don't say anything. And then like Kiri and Darrow are like kind of in the back trying to pretend like
They don't exist yet.
they're invisible. Yeah.
Mhm.
That seem like
I am not associated with these people, but I don't want to lose them, but I kind of want, and yeah.
all right, yeah. Or Skulker in the back. Yeah, I like Skulker.
Anyone who's getting off the road, roll me a stealth check, please.
Wait, getting off the road? Why
I
now?
don't think anyone is just yet. I don't know. That didn't sound like it.
Kiri, did you
I
say you were
was-
gonna hide in the
Yeah,
woods?
I was
Oh,
hiding
okay.
because dragon.
Please roll me a stealth check. You can do it at advantage since you have time to set up a hiding spot. All right, that does it. Yeah. So you see Kiri with just one like graceful swoop of her wings, just like ascends into like a thick tree along the trail, and like you could, if you were standing directly at the base, you could probably see her, but apart from that, she is heavily obscured.
I pull up my hood and curl my tail into the cloak and just kind of look down.
And like as we get closer, Flint embellishes his brim and says, "Good day, gentlemen.
To the traveling party?
Are we that close yet or no?"
I was gonna say, unless there are any preparations, you guys.
Well, I mean, I
Everyone's
don't think
good.
It's
All right.
like, yeah.
So you get within talking distance, and you can hear that. So I guess I'll describe them first. At the head of this party is a pale figure. He's about 5'6". He has a sword and shield, and he's wearing a bright purple hat with a feather in it. Looking at his ears, you can tell he's an elf of some kind. So I'll. So that's the first adventuring party member. The next is sort of like she is definitely female, but she's more of like a woodland like creature, more or less. She's got like a very like earthy, almost like sort of like a giantess like look, but she is medium sized. So I'm just typing this out so we don't all lose track of it.
Check.
There is a human with them, with rippling muscles. He's dressed in furs and simple He also carries a great axe with him. There is a hulking, like, you would assume that this person is a human, except for the fact that they're like Schwarzenegger in his prime, more or less. About 9 foot tall, rippling muscles with a great sword across his back. And last but not least, we have the shortest member of their group. He is a half-elf. He's dressed in, like, dark clothes, with a cloak, and you see he has a scythe on his back. And it's at this point that your groups come together, and the pale elf with the purple hat addresses you all and says, looks like we got ourselves a little adventure party here. Good morning.
And I say,
aren't you all cute?
I say, Solion, le nasom he Istoni Flint. I just said, like, hey, it's nice to meet you. I welcome you. My name's Flint.
He's just like, Tunandoro Isire, Diden, and he points to himself.
My Loveman and Navidu Diden.
I hope you don't mind if we speak the common tongue so that our friends may partake.
Of course not. I just think it's nice to greet a fellow elf in Elvish.
Allow me to introduce ourselves. My name is Deedon. He points to himself. This, and he points to the human with, like, the rippling muscles and the great axe. This is Elendil. He points to the giant fucking Goliath with the greatsword and says, this is Steelrender.
Hey,
He points to the woodland woman and says, this is Leona.
Jesus Christ.
And last but not least, he gestures towards the half pint, and he says, and this is Jedron. And everyone kind of does, like, a nod or, like, a small greeting, like, as they're introduced. So, where are you all headed?
It was nice to meet all of you. As I said before, my name's Flint. I turn to the side, so I'm, like, looking behind me. And I say, this large gentleman is Scatha. And behind him, I say, that's Skulker. And in the back is, Darrow. It's nice to meet all of you. We were headed to Greenwich.
I hear they're having some trouble over there lately. And it's at this point, like, now that you've been standing face to face with these people for a couple minutes, you can just tell, like, by looking at them, that they are, the way they hold themselves, like, the looks of their weapons, like, anything that they do wield in combat is, like, of a very fine make. The way they carry themselves with a great purpose. Like, I'm basically trying to give you flavor text for, like, your character would think that these people are a higher level than you by, like,
Right.
several levels.
Got you.
We are bugs. Yeah.
You see the one called Leona sort of, like, taps Deedon on the ear and kind of, like, or taps Deedon on the shoulder and whispers something in his ear. And he, like, turns back and looks at her and he's like, oh, you're right. He's like, so, would you all call yourselves an adventuring party?
Flint, like, turns around, and then he looks back, and he's, like, got a quizzical look on his face, and he goes, you know, I never thought about it like that, but now that you say it, I guess we are. Why do you ask?
No, we adventurers are a rare breed. It's always a pleasure to meet more of us. It's good to know that people keep the tradition going. It's a hard path, but someone has to do it.
Possible temporary long-term negotiation of alliance.
Wait, what?
Possible temporary long-term negotiation of alliance.
Yes. Interesting way to put it. So Leona, like, whispers something in his ear, and, like, they kind of, like, murmur amongst themselves for a couple moments. He's like, tell you what, like, I take it you all don't have a name for yourselves yet?
That we do not.
Well, we are Fate's Reprise.
Did
And
you
from
just...
one adventuring group to another, we have a small gift for you.
Oh,
Elendril approaches Skatha. Leona approaches Kiri. Jedron approaches Skulker. Deedon approaches Darrow. And Steelrender approaches Flint. They all hand you a small bottle wrapped in cloth. Leona says, "It's not much. These are healing potions. They're of the weaker variety, but we have no use for them. And if you're going to Greenwich, you might."
Skulker looks at Jedron and says, "You have no purpose for this? You sure about that?"
You sure about that? Jedron just looks at you with like dead set eyes and kind of just blinks and just says like, "If I said I have no purpose for it, I have no purpose for it. The kindness of my friends is more than that of my own. But I'm still a nice guy." And he kind of just like sort of like gestures it a little further towards you.
I mean, I take it. It's not booze, but I'll put it with the rest.
Flint, like, embellishes his brim again, and, like, takes it from him and goes, "Thank you, Steelrender. I appreciate that. It's always nice to have someone else looking out for me. You know what I mean?"
He just like claps his fist to like his heart and does like a small nod and like doesn't say much.
And before the exchange ends, Flint like notices something catch the light, like behind Steelrender, but he doesn't really know what it is. But he just something catches the light and it kind of draws his eye there for a second, but he doesn't really think much of it.
Elendril says to Skatha and like to the rest of you all, like, "We have a favor we must ask of you. Someday, when you are experienced adventurers and you see a new group setting out on a journey, give them a small act of kindness, similar as we have given to you."
I will, Elendil. Thank you.
It's good to keep the cycle going. We are, and you see, what's it called? My cat is like attacking me. Cole, what are you doing? Stop.
Colith.
Coltrane.
Lavernius, what are you doing? All right. So, it's at this point that Deedon begins speaking again, and he says, like, "Someone once paid us a kindness, and we would like to keep the ripple going, so to speak. I remember when we were first starting out," and he kind of just, like, chuckles to himself. You see, like, scattered, like, small smiles, like, throughout the remainder of his party. He says, "Well, we're all heading west to Kryta. I don't know if you've heard, but there's been a big undead uprising there lately."
Hey, get bro. Nah, we haven't heard much about that way, but hopefully our paths cross again. Maybe we can get you out of some trouble next time.
What's an undead?
Deedon just winks at you guys and says, like, "You very well might. Now, if you'll pardon us, we must be gone. May the gods watch over you."
And like Flint embellishes his head.
Oh, Deedon, Dara, audibly and visually scoff gods.
What'd you say? Goth gods?
No, scoffs at the mention of gods. Like, "May the gods be with you." He goes, "Yeah, okay."
No one seems to notice or pay it much mind if they did. Yeah. And unless anyone has anything they'd like to say or ask, you guys are going to go your separate ways.
So, like, as they're walking away, Flint is like smiling ear to ear because he's happy for the kindness that he received, and he turns around, he like turns his head back to like look at the other party, like walk away, and he stops dead in his tracks as he's like looking at the other party, and his like mouth is like pretty much, it's like wide open.
Why?
Because he recognizes Hearthfire, and he goes,
This incarnation of Steel Render does not have Hearthfire. I'm sorry to dis-
okay, sorry, that's fine. So he goes, he because he knows. Wait, hold on. Does this incarnation exist with Shade or no?
Shadestalker is not present.
I know, but does he exist? Like, is Shadestalker in the world somewhere?
That is for me.
Why
to
would
know.
you know that?
Because I was gonna say, like, I mean, dude, if I've been around for so long and I've heard of the Wolves of Dawn, I would probably put two and two together if I saw a 9-foot Goliath walk past.
Nah, none of that is canon. This is
Feels
more
bad.
of a.
It was just like an ode. Gotcha.
So meta 9 on this table that I had was you run into a friendly adventuring party and they give you each a health potion. I figured I'd make it something a little more sentimental.
Oh, you niced it. Dude.
Yep.
Dope.
Eden is Sean's former drow bard.
Yep. When you said purple hat with a feather, I was like, oh, that fuck.
Elendril is Paul's former human barbarian. Leona is Iga's Furbolg druid. Jedron is Josh's half-elf warlock. And Steel Render is Lucas's Goliath fighter. So that was a little homage to everyone else's character, or a character that they have played. Maybe
Not gonna lie, when
someday.
you said Goliath, I'm like, no.
Yeah, dude, I didn't
And
even
then
think.
half elf with a scythe. Come on.
I figured at a certain point, like, it would start becoming pretty obvious.
Oh yeah.
But, so, you've all met the group called Fate's Reprise.
Oh,
They
dude,
head
Connor-
west, and that's the last you've seen of them. Or that's the last you see of them for now.
Dude, when you said that, I like laughed to myself. I was like, did you just make that canon in our other game?
Make what canon?
Fate's Reprise, dude.
Well, I don't want to derail us too much, but
Alright, sorry.
Reprise is a repeated passage in music, or like a repeat in like a
Mhm.
piece of music or a performance.
I know. Yeah.
So,
I just thought it was cool. We could. Alright. Anyway, back to the task at hand.
Too bad they can't go back in time and change their group name, huh? character.
Kiri is still confused, and she's like, but like, seriously, what's an undead?
And an undead is a thing that is not alive, yet shows the attributes of one that is living, like being able to move, bite, attack things, have semi-intelligent thoughts. They're generally very evil.
Kiri, there are some bad people in this world with dark magic that will bring the dead back to life.
And Eldritch Blast.
I fucking hate you, dude. Bro.
so everyone, please add 1 healing potion to your inventory.
Already
That's one healing
done.
potion, right?
Potion of healing, I guess it would be.
Yeah,
Is it-
everyone says healing potion, but it's technically a potion of healing. That's
Wait,
why
but
it's always so hard to find.
It's a weak healing potion, right?
Just a base healing
Standard.
potion.
You can just type it in
standard.
if you don't feel
2d4
like
plus 2.
Wait, can you just like look it up and then just drag it?
Indeed, you can go to the little
Okay.
I button and look Potion of Healing and drag and drop it on your character sheet.
Well, I'll be damned.
It's magical.
Oh, what? But you have to still make a button.
That's what that's for?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I love it when someone learns that for the first time.
Right?
It's
It's fucking
amazing.
awesome.
Have you not been using that?
Do you have
Have you been
any
manually
idea?
entering all of your spells and attacks and weapons?
Wait,
Yes. Yes. What do you think I'm typing right now?
Wait, but you still have to make it like a clickable button, right? If you wanted to roll.
Yeah, if you want it to roll, you need to make it a button.
Yeah. No.
Otherwise-
I'm not gonna
Actually,
do that
well,
anyways,
no,
'cause we'll use it once. So.
Psych, if you do spells, it typically it makes an attack button for you.
Is there a potion of healing spell too? No, it's just an item.
No, it's
No,
just an
it's just an item. But like if you put in spells and stuff, then it'll automatically make a button for you.
So I don't have to Google every single item I have.
Yeah, if you like put a weapon in your inventory, it will automatically make a button for you.
Dope.
Yeah.
I don't know if Connor or Jonathan introduced, or I don't know if I or Jonathan introduced Connor to the compendium, but it's like, oh, it's magical.
I think it was you, and I shot my pants.
Yeah, I was like,
I've been heaving this entire time.
I mean,
yeah, so I was like, oh, you can just drag and drop it. Like, what? Okay.
Right.
So what time do we arrive in
You arrive at
whatchamacallit?
the gates of Greenwich at sunset. The sun is going down. It is still above the horizon, but barely. And there are 2 guards standing at the gate, both human.
So Flint like embellishes Burn and goes, "Good evening, gentlemen."
Good evening, sir.
Wait, are we allowed to just walk through? Like,
The gate is open. They're not stopping you.
Kiri would like visibly like hold back.
I will.
Like you're out of sight of the party.
No, since Kiri and I have been walking next to each other, I'll kind of go up next to her and kind of whisper, with my cloak still down and the tail still up in the cloak. It's like, just follow me. Keep its head inside the cloak and just walk like you have a purpose and you're meant to be here. Just don't look at them. Don't try to act suspicious. Just 1 foot and a 1, 2, and a walk.
The guard, not the one who addressed you, but the one who, what's it called? The other one who was silent was said, "Y'all have a good night." Are you all familiar with this town? Does anyone need directions?
Sir, what time does the magistrate close?
The magistrate is already closed. An hour after first light should be open.
Thank you. Can you tell us where a suitable inn is?
Surely. The running river, right in the town square. One of the finest this side of the Shiver Peaks.
Where's the best tavern in town at?
Same place.
All
Tap
right.
room in the running river is unparalleled. At least here.
Let's go. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your kindness.
Enjoy your stay. Stay out of trouble.
No promises.
Roll for initiative.
The crossbow sharpshooters on the roof stand up.
Oh, just blast.
Alright. Well, I guess we should probably go to the inn, check in, get our rooms all set up for the evening before we part our separate ways. I can already tell that Skulker wants to get a drink in him.
You don't say, as like the alcohol, like you can just smell it on his breath.
For comparison purposes.
Yep.
Yeah, we should probably go before he passes out in an alley somewhere. Kissing
So,
some little poor girl's beret.
So DM, I have been to this town before. Do I
Yes.
know a way to get to the inn in question, or not in the main path?
Yeah, the town is basically like a square, more or less. So you can sort of take like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a roundabout way towards the center through like the side streets. Like you don't have to walk directly towards the middle of the square. You can sort of take a roundabout way of getting there.
Yep. So, Flint, I know this town pretty well. You can explore and go however which way you want. I think Kiri and I might want to take the roundabout way, the scenic route, if you would, to get towards the inn. If you want to meet there or come with us, it's up to you. I think we're probably going to go right there. Less in trouble of finding people that way.
And Kiri is like excitedly and like with a thankful look, like nods, you know.
I think that's a pretty good idea, Daryl. I'm keen to come with you.
So would everyone else like to go?
Skava. Guys, I was wondering if you could maybe answer the question.
Wait, so y'all leaving Skulker at the tavern by himself?
No, we're asking what you
No,
wanna
like
do.
which way we're going, right? So like, do you want to take the main streets and like explore the town, or we're taking the like side alleys to stay out of the general vision of things towards the end?
Wait,
Do we all want to join this call?
is that my dad calling?
Yeah. Is it a miss?
Fuck it. Let's hop in there.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, shit. He's not
Wait,
in.
what happened?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
why
he's back in the
did-
lounge. All right.
Oh wait,
We out.
all right, we out.
Hold on. What's happening?
I just got.
Yeah,
What the heck?
I've been having connection.
What was that about?
I just got in there, and you're all like,
He's
"We
been,
out." What the
We've been having connection problems.
I'm good now. I mean, as best as I can be right now.
fuck? All right,
All right.
here we go.
So, Dad, Flint was asking Scatha, and I don't know if you heard, but Kiri.
Yeah, I did. I'm not
Okay.
going to the. I don't need to go. Scatha doesn't need to go to the tavern.
Oh no! Everyone's
No.
going.
We are going to town. We're just,
Oh, we are.
yeah,
I think Kiri and I are going to the inn.
like directly to the inn.
Yeah, the
Oh,
roundabout way.
The tavern is part of the inn.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Understood.
They're not going to go do any sightseeing. They're just going right there, but they're going a long way so that they're not
I
seeing a
gotcha.
lot of people.
I mean, the tavern's the only site I want to see, so
All right, so you're coming with us. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a one-track mind, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like
Two
you're like,
smoker.
you're like a one-trick pony, but with alcohol.
Fucking same though.
I have 2 tricks: alcohol, Eldritch Blast.
So, we see, as we're walking through the town, the part of the party that takes like the scenic route, the part of the party that takes the direct route, you can see that there are like patrols like marching throughout the town. There are squads of like 3 to 6 guys. Some humans, some dwarf, a couple half elves here and there, a couple wood elves here and there. You see an occasional gnome walking in the street. But for the most part, the town seems very at peace. Granted, it is nighttime, but what's it called? You can tell that something's up lately because there are like armed guards just patrolling the streets, which I mean isn't too uncommon. But so, people from the outside would not be aware of this, but Darrow, you are aware that these are more guards than usual. You could assume that it's because of what's been going on at the Abbey.
Right. What was the name of the inn again?
The Running River.
Running River. Okay, thank you.
And we all arrive at the front of the inn. We see Darrow and Kiri emerge from like an alley around the side as Scatha, Skulker, and Flint are standing out front. And we are all united once again.
So I guess I'll open the inn door. Is there a little bell? Like, ding, 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 ding.
It's more of a push to enter and just kind of. just
No, that's
do
what I
it.
mean. But like, is there like a bell on top? You know, like you open the door and it goes like. Ding, ding.
Oh, yeah. I don't know,
Um,
Connor. Is there a bell?
There is no bell. However,
Alright,
you
Is there a
can't
peace
be
prize?
certain because the second you open the door, like light spills out into the street, and the sound of like music and like laughter and chatter and such, like basically like explodes out of the door. And it's at this moment you realize how finely the building is made because you couldn't really hear much of this from the outside. You heard what you assumed to be general tavern chatter, but it's a fucking party in here right now.
It's dope. All right, so I guess Flint would find his way to like the bar to talk to the person behind it to like get rooms and stuff.
Surely. Give me just a sec. Hey. So we see in the corner there's a small cluster of 4 gnomes with like different instruments. They're all like, you got one on the stringed instrument, like there's one with like a pan pipe, there's one with like a small set of like bongos or like percussion type things. There's one with a like a tambourine sort of instrument. And they're providing music for like the rest of the tavern. We see patrons of all different races, none of them as extravagant as you guys, but the same like multiracial like makeup that Ascon has is pretty well represented here.
It's a microcosm.
Yeah, exactly. You make your way through the crowd up to the barkeep, and you see a small gnome sitting there. He's on a stool right now, and he's conversing with another patron, but he is the only person behind the bar. So you can assume he is the barkeep.
So I guess like, trying to like project my voice over all of the music and the laughter and just the jovial attitude that is in this inn. Flint says, "Good evening, Master Dwarf." Oh, no.
And he looks at you and he says,
Master Gnome, dude.
"The fuck did you just call me?" Good evening. And you see he like hops down off of his stool and like pulls it up towards the the front of the counter and like hops back up onto it. So like, what can I get you?
Well, Master Gnome, I was wondering first if I could, if you do me the honors of giving me your name.
You're a friendly folk, aren't you? Not many people give a shit about my name. I am Humboldt Springbreeze. I'm the proprietor of this here establishment. I'll type it out. Humboldt Springbreeze. Nice to meet you. Has everyone approached the bar, or is it just Flint?
No, I feel like Kiri would stay more like by
two
the
of us are
wall
in a
or by
corner.
the door, yeah, like
Alright.
somewhere tucked away.
So having been from the outside world, Kiri, like, this is like a fucking spectacle for you right now. There's
It
music,
is.
There's people like laughing and like fucking with each other.
And she
kinda,
absolutely
like,
wants to be a
yelling.
part of it, but like she has Anzu and she's aware of that.
So we have Scatha, Skulker, and Flint at the bar right now?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, aren't you lot quite a bunch? What can I get for you?
Well, thank you, Humboldt. My name is Flint, just so you know, because you gave me your name. I think it's only right that you have mine. But I was wondering, how much do your rooms cost, and if you had any available?
It's a little pricey here. You run a high-quality establishment, but I believe you'll find it worth the price. It'll be 25 copper for the night. Average in price would be like 12 or 13 copper for the night.
For one room, Connor? 25?
For one room.
Humboldt, how many rooms do you have available?
We currently have 7.
I'll take 6, and I like slide him a silver, and I say,
He kind of just like looks at the silver and like looks back up at you and kind of like rubs his fingers together in like the universal gesture for money. You're a little short, my friend.
I forgot that it's 100, not 1,000. Yeah, so instead of handing him 1, I hand him 2. And I say,
6.
the rest of that second silver so that my friends and I here can eat and drink to our heart's content. And then whatever's left over is a tip for you.
You're very kind, Master Flint. Thank you. And you see he slides the coins into his pocket and he says, what are your drinks of choice? Yes, you, Scatha, he like gestures to you and he says like, my friend, what might I call you?
I'll take an ale.
What's your name, Dad? Right to the point.
That's an interesting name. Well, I think I know what to get you. And you see he turns around to like a cask on the shelf behind him and sort of just like fills up a tankard like tall with ale. Like the foam is kind of like spilling down the side of the glass. And he like plops it on the counter right in front of you. Says like, enjoy.
Thank you, guys, sir.
Greenwich's finest. Flint, what can I get you to drink?
Trying to think. What do dwarves drink? I mean, they drink ale, and you know what? I don't know like any.
Bourbon.
Is that what they drink? I don't know what they drink. Whatever dwarves drink, I want that. All right, so I'll just be like.
Dwarves drink either incredibly dark beer or like grog.
Yeah, pretty much. You getting the IPA?
Yeah. Give me your thickest, darkest beer that you have, good sir.
Huh. Little tall for a dwarf, aren't you? And you see he goes to like a different cask like further down the line and just fills up a nice big tanker, plops it down right in front of you. Last but not least, and he gestures to you and he goes, "What might I call you, friend?"
An alcoholic.
Ah, my favorite. And he says, like, "What can I interest you in? Or rather, what should I give you to sample first?"
What's the strongest you got?
And he goes over to the corner and he takes out a small glass bottle, and you can see that there are etchings and carvings on this glass, and you can tell it's very ornate. As an alcoholic, you recognize it, and Flint, as an elf, you recognize it. This is Elvish firewater.
Elvish.
This is
That's
basically
just legendary.
this is basically Everclear.
So like, Flint would look at it and just look over at Darrow or at Skulker, and he wouldn't even say anything. He would just like smile and nod, almost as if to say like, "I'm not surprised in the least."
I hate to be picky, but this is a rather expensive bottle. I would charge you for a drink of it. However, the breakfast and dinner have already been included.
How much would you charge?
It's almost as expensive as the room. I'll give you a glass for 20 copper.
Meta, when you say a glass, do you mean a shot or a glass?
Like a glass. Like you would probably be tanked upon completing this glass.
Okay.
If he wasn't an alcoholic god, you mean?
We'll see how much of a god he is. Alright.
Constitution saving throw. As soon as you smell it, dude.
All right.
So interestingly enough, a small gnome maiden comes out from the, there's a door at the back of the bar, and it swings open, and you see a gnomish maiden come out, and she rests a bunch of plates. She rests 7 plates, or like 8 plates. She's carrying a bunch of them. You can barely see her face behind all the plates that she's carrying. But she starts resting them on the bar behind the counter. You can see that they're steaming hot, and they're all the same thing. So you can just assume that these are just meals prepared for guests. Whoever pays for dinner for the night will receive one of these plates. Excuse me. There's venison steak with some small like root vegetables and mashed potatoes. And there's like a light gravy drizzled over them. Humboldt turns around, he hands each of you a plate, and he says, "I count 3, but you require 6 rooms, yes?"
Actually, can we just do in canon?
We're gonna take down some.
Do you want to
walls
meta
for the
it
night.
just to speed it up?
Yeah, just 5 instead of 6. 'Cause
5 instead of 6?
I was
Alright.
thinking we still had bars with us.
So 5 times 25 is what?
I took out. So I had
100
5 silver, Connor. So I
It'd be
took.
125.
I took 2.
Okay. Oh, right. You gave him the change in the tip. So this is
Yeah.
all taken care of in comp and stuff. Is there anyone else here with you that might be needing the plate?
Seeing that they have taken a table, I will turn to Kiri, who we've been hiding in the corner with. Think, we should probably kind of go join them. Just sneak through the crowd here.
I'm sure we'd wave them in.
Like, she would look at him hesitantly, like, in a very hesitant manner, and kind of look down at, where Ons is hiding in, like, the pouch, and...
You see, like, just through the sliver of a pouch, like, you see his eye, like, looking at you, but, like, you can tell he's actually kind of, like, nervous with all the noise and commotion going on. He doesn't seem eager to burst out.
Okay.
We'll go take care of the rooms soon.
I would give him, like, a trusting nod and follow him to the table.
Just stay close to me, and I'll work through the crowd, making our way over to the table.
All right.
Maybe just one person who's a little too loud and gets a little too close to me, I'll pop the back of their knee in with my tail as I pass by so they spill their drink.
absolute monstrosity we have here, gentlemen. And
So,
ladies.
Kiri, as you're walking by, you see like a drunken human kind of just like lean into Darrow a little bit, and out from under his cloak, you see his tail just like flicks out really quick and just like slaps him in the back of the ankle. And the guy goes, "What the hell?" Like looks down and like spills a little bit of his beer on his chest, but like is too drunk to really care or notice like what actually caused it. And we have our party united at a table. So I need Scappa and Flint to roll me Constitution saving throws. I need Skulker to roll me Constitution saving throw with disadvantage.
Disadvantage? I am an alcoholic, bitch.
Even Everclear hurts alcoholics.
Okay.
Can confirm. Taking shots at Everclear is not a good time.
Damn! Goodbye, Nat 20.
So Scappa, this is like a finer breed of ale than like they have back in the swamp and back at Nooksvar. You notice that like it hits you a little hard. You're starting to feel like, you know, you're really digging the music. You're kind of like, you know, you're intoxicated basically. Flint, you feel a little cheery. You're handling your drink pretty well. Skulker, downs his glass and like, so Flint, being aware of what the firewater is, you like expect him to like sip it casually for a little while. Skulker just like 12 o'clocks the glass, and 5 minutes later, you can just tell by his eyes that he is tanked.
So Skulker, I take it you've never seen anything like this before. Oh no, wait, you said as an alcoholic you have seen it, right?
Yeah, he's familiar with what it is.
Have I drinking it before?
Once or twice. You don't remember much about those times though.
Skulker, I think you need to slow down, my friend. Otherwise, I'm going to be carrying you up to your room, and I'd really rather not strain my back. You know, I am 227 years old.
Yeah, no. This put me right where I want to be. I'm good. No more, no
like,
less. Hitch
Flint,
like
like-
I don't remember.
Flint like nods his head, and he like gets up, and he goes over to the bar, and he finds Humboldt, and he goes, "Excuse me, Humboldt.
Yes,
You know my grizzled friend who ordered the firewater?
How's he doing?
Yeah. If he comes back up asking you for more, do all us a favor and just do not give it to him."
He just winks at you. Tap water it is then on the house.
Thank you, sir.
Like water it is then on the house.
Thank you, Master.
Scappa, you like over the commotion, you feel like a small tug on what's it called? On like the back of like your pants, and like you turn around and you see that there are two gnomes looking up at you. They say like, "Greetings, sir. We have a proposal for you."
A puzzle?
Proposal.
Proposal?
I guess he's drunk. Dad?
Connection.
He might have, yeah.
I'm here. Sorry, guys.
Ah, it's all good.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Well, do you fancy yourself a competitor, or like, are you the competitive type?
Just as an aside, so he's pretty drunk off this one ale, and he realizes that Scappa does, so he's going to be very conservative at this point.
Okay.
Yes, I'm competitive, but unfortunately the ale has gone to my head.
Ah. Well, what would you say to a little wager?
That depends.
Do it, you won't.
Would you arm wrestle my brother and I at the same time for a 10 copper bet?
Well, okay, let's do it.
All right.
Conservative.
And you see now the two gnomes speak like to the rest of the table. They say like, "Would you mind giving us a little room?"
I imagine Kiri's already like sitting at the edge somewhere. Anyway.
So you see
Little room.
These two
Ah.
like gnomish identical twins sort of like clamber their way up onto the table, and it's at this point that you can tell that they're already drunk. They both sort of like, I'm not sure if you were expecting each of them on one arm, but they both sort of like huddle together and kind of like put their arms out like to match like your arm, more or less.
Okay.
So they're layering up.
They're
Each of them have, like, one has my right arm, one has my left arm.
They both have your right arm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the way we're gonna do this is you need 3 like victories to beat them.
All
So
right.
Before
whoever-
you start that, question on how you're DMing the world. If I cast a spell that has verbal and somatic and I am not a sorcerer, does everyone know I'm doing it?
What spell is it?
Guidance.
Roll me sleight of hand because it's verbal somatic. You said
Indeed.
it's loud enough in here where I'd say somatic could go by unnoticed. But give me
You
sleight
mean
of hand
verbal?
for somatic. Or yeah. Verbal.
Let me try this. Oh,
What a
Yeah.
hero.
Could you put the spell in chat? So we,
yes, I may.
and you're casting this on Scatha.
That is indeed true. The
Alright.
as
That's
I'm getting up to make room, I will
That's
pat him on the
disgusting,
shoulder
dude.
and say and whisper in his ear a couple arcane words in a tongue he doesn't know, ended with "good luck."
A sleight of hand and Eldritch Blast.
So Scatha, you feel like as Darrow stands up to make room, he kind of like brushes his arm like on you and like says these things. And, like you feel like a slight like tingling sensation start to stem from like the point where he touched you to like the rest of your body, but like not really sure what to make of it. Darrow's kind of a little weird, to put it plainly. So, but he's kind. So, these are just going to be strength checks.
Strength or athletics?
Just strength.
Which, if you have one you don't like, you can add a D4 to it.
not the. Okay.
Not save it. You're rolling saves.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Oh wait, Dad, hold on. You do 1, and then he does 1. You just keep going back and forth.
So what am I hitting again?
On the
Strength
left,
once.
on the left side of the character sheet where you see your skills, like all the way on the
Yeah,
left,
I
the
see,
boxes,
okay.
just click.
All right.
You're gonna click it once, and then he's gonna go back and forth.
All right. Who wants to count it down?
All right.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So I'm hitting what button now?
Okay, Dad. You see your character sheet?
Yeah.
Okay, you see all the way on the left where those boxes are, where your stats are, strength,
Yeah.
dexterity. You're gonna click the word strength. See how it like highlights red?
Okay, I got it. All right,
All right.
let's go.
Hell yeah. All right. Anyone in the party volunteering to count down, or are the gnomes going to do it?
I'll do it.
3, 4,
Two.
5.
And we hear 1, and the gnomes begin like straining all their weight against Scatha's arm. Paul, would you like to go first? All right, not bad.
If
Not
you
bad.
don't like the number, you can add a D4 to it, but you can only do it once.
All right, I won't add the D4 to this one.
So we see the 2 gnomes like straining with like their quads, like I don't know, like their legs are like fully like behind them as they're like pushing up against Scatha's arms. And you see they're both like walking in place, and like you're kind of amused by the fact that like both of these little guys are putting up like such a struggle to like overcome, and you're kind of just like met in the middle. Let's go again. Oof. They start to get some ground on you. Would you like to add the D4?
Yeah.
Alright. Hell yeah. So you feel them start to like sort of like they start getting the edge on you, and that tingling sensation sort of like reaches like a what's the
What
word
a
I'm looking
monster.
for? Like reaches its peak as like you sort of like you feel your muscle flex and you start like backing down the 2 gnomes.
All right. Want me to go again?
Surely. Ooh.
Oh.
What a hero.
Better add it, better add
Oh
it.
no. You see the gnomes start to give way, and they're really on the back foot now. We need one more to see if you can end it.
He nat 20s, throws him through the wall.
Oof. And with like a loud like clamor, like the one of the gnomes sort of like loses his footing and like eats shit like right on the face, like just face down on the table. And you hear there's like a small like lull in the music as everyone kind of realizes like, wait, like is someone fighting right now? And then like there's like a small silence that comes over the bar, and you see the gnome get up and he's just like, hey, and like the music picks back up again. And what's it called? Is that command? That is command. And you see like people in the tavern like laughing, everyone's having a good time, and like the gnome who initiated the conversation with you hands you the 10 copper, and he's like, what might we call you, friend?
Oh, my name is Scotha, friend.
Ah, Scatha the Strong. We will never
Dad?
forget this.
He just made a cannon. You add that to your character sheet right now, dude.
Collect your titles as you can.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Scatha. You have
And
yourself
you
a
too,
lovely
my
night.
friend.
You see them sort of like stumble about, like the one who ate shit is like has his arm around his brother, kind of just like hobbling away. And the night sort of passes into like, you know, jokes are had, you know, a little bit of conversation here and there, but eventually the crowd starts dying down. You see the band starts playing like a softer melody now. Conversation can be heard like distinctly because there are just less people here now, so I assume you don't talk about anything like really sensitive information or anything like that. And it is now like midnight, pretty much, starting to go on 1 a.m. Humboldt calls out from behind the counter of the bar. He's like, last call.
I'm good. Flint's good, dude.
Skulker stands up a little and then sits down.
And
Scott was good.
Yeah, no.
Flint sees that and goes over. And he like puts Skulker's arm around his neck and goes, all right, buddy, come on, let's go.
So, Humboldt calls you over. He says, like, Flint. And he sort of is just like holding like a couple keys up in the air. And he,
Oh yeah, I suppose we probably need those, don't we?
and he just winks at you and says, like, upstairs. Last 5 on the right.
Thank you kindly, Master Gnome. I really do appreciate it, Humboldt. I hope
Thanks
you
for
have
your
yourself a
patronage.
good night.
You as well. Alright. And the night fades into dawn. Uneventful. Everyone gets their own room, paid for by Flint. It's nice and quiet in here. There are a few other patrons staying on the upstairs floor, but no one is overly loud or obnoxious. The firewater leaves Skulker a little groggier than usual in the morning, but you all wake. Well, when you wake, if it is when the sun is starting to come up, you wake to the smell of pancakes and an interesting aroma that some of you haven't really smelled before.
Oh, Connor, what is it as a DM?
Coffee.
Ah,
Okay. So I assume like Darrow.
I am downstairs in my pajamas still.
Yeah, he was like. Like I'm
Or
sitting.
rather, my armor is still in the room. I have not put that on. I smelled coffee. I'm like, oh, and it went down.
Dude, this is what I feel like. Flint is already sitting at the bar because he already got his 4 hours and he's like down there just kind of maybe reading or something. And
You probably
know,
got there before Humboldt.
You know when Kramer like
Yes,
you know,
just
Kramer like
kicks the
opens the
door
door
open,
and comes into a room and he like stops himself. Like that's what I feel like Darrow did when he walks down there.
Yeah.
I don't know. So does everyone meet at the bar downstairs?
I feel like Carrie would be kind of hesitant to go out by herself. I feel like Carrie would have been hesitant to like stay in a room by herself in the first place, but she would have. But like to go out into like the rest of the thing, she would be hesitant.
So it's been about. Flint was the first one downstairs. He's actually the only one in the tap room until a little after sunrise. Then Darrow comes down and we see actually no. We see Scatha come down like about an hour before first light.
Yep.
Some words are exchanged. Then we see Darrow and Skulker kind of meander down within a couple minutes of each other. But once things are in full swing, we realize Kiri is still in her room.
I will have finished a cup of coffee, look around, realize that she's not there, and I will turn to Flint and say, do you remember which one she took?
Yeah. Why don't you stay down here? I'll go check on her and make sure she's all right.
I was going to. Oh, yeah, good idea.
As another cup of coffee is being poured. All right, so Kiri, what are you doing in your room like during this time? Are you kind of just like watching the window, like trying to figure out like what's going on?
I guess
like,
I'm just.
covers?
I imagine Anzu would be pretty energetic in the morning because that's what we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And
you see, he's kind of like there's like a small chest for like your belongings. He's kind of like poking his head in the chest, like poking it out, like running around the perimeter of the room, like going under the bed, like poking his head in the chest, perimeter of the room, under the bed, like out of the bed. Like he's kind of just like, sounds like there might be like a cat or something running around inside of the room.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, I want to play with him, but I'm trying to kind of just like almost hush him because I'm afraid that someone is gonna come to like figure out what the noise is.
Sure.
So I'm just like, I guess running after him, and he's like not paying attention to me. I'm just kind of trying to like calm him down.
Could you roll me an animal handling check at advantage?
Okay. Oh, thank God for the advantage.
Right.
Thank God for the advantage.
He's about to blow out the side of the building. You see, he's sort of leaning his head back. Like he's about to sneeze, and like you kind of like catch him and like clap your hand over his mouth. You see like a cold like gust of air hit the inside of your hand, and it's at this point that you hear a knock at the door, and Anzu is like totally calm in your arms. Like he seems like you grabbing him like this. You really only do this when it's like needed to be done. So he kind of recognizes that like he's got to chill.
Yeah, so like I would tuck him in and kind of just like peek, kind of like side glance out of the door.
And Flint, you know, like obviously he knows that you're a pretty personal person and whatnot, and you like your space. So like he would knock, and he would be like, I'm sorry to disturb you, Miss Carey. I just wanted to make sure that you all right."
Yeah, we're good. Just trying to, keep him out of sight.
"Would you like it if I brought you some breakfast?"
That would be highly appreciated. Thank you.
"Of course, ma'am. I'll be right back."
Sure. So you grab some pancakes from the bar. You grabbing coffee?
Well, I grabbed pancakes, and is Rumbold still there?
Humboldt's back in the kitchen right now. There's a different gnome tending the bar.
I guess I'll
One who hasn't been told to give Skulker only tap water.
Jesus.
This is true.
No.
Like
Skulker
I just
was silent this morning.
imagine you asking the gnome, and then Flint just gives the gnome a death stare, and he's like,
The gnome just
nobody
points
water.
to a picture behind the bar. It's just like a small sketch of Skulker, and he just like shakes his head no. Like,
Humboldt told us, like, no. No, Skulker's been silent all morning.
"Yeah, I'll take like 3 servings of pancakes."
sure. Coming right up.
Very smart.
Yeah, no, they keep them coming. You see, like, the way the plates were piled along the back counter last night with the dinner, like, the same thing's done with the breakfast. So,
Is there anyone else who stayed at this inn that is down here for breakfast with us?
there are 2 humans, male and female.
Ooh,
Do they look like
honeymoon.
they're together? Or are they
Um,
2 separate entities?
At a charming B&B.
Gotha, Skulker, Darrow, and Flint, roll me insight. If you'd care to learn the nature of these 2 traveling together. So Scatha, you can
Highest
tell
bonus
that
is
they're
roll the
keeping
worst,
to
what the
themselves, but like not in like a cloistered romantic kind of way, like more of like a you'd almost get the impression that these are siblings traveling together. They don't really seem to be like, there's no like romance in their eyes when they look at each other, but there is like caring and like concern.
0% sexual tension.
Yes.
You sure about that?
Unless you're an incel.
This is not Alabama, okay?
Alabama 100, dude.
Alabama 100.
Hey, maybe it's Mississippi. You don't know.
Incel.net, dude.
Incest. Incel is a totally different thing.
No, bro, I'm making a point that incels think that, yeah, because they're scum, dude. Anyway, moving on.
So Scotha turns to Flint and says, "What do you think that brother and sister are doing here?"
Ew, you niced it cannonly, dude. Well,
As he has 3 plates of pancakes in his hands, about to
I'm
walk
so good.
upstairs.
Well, Scotha, I don't think that's much of our business, to be honest. But I'm sure that if you struck up a conversation with them, they'd be more than happy to tell you.
Well, Scotha's not the type of person who really gives a shit, so that's why he asked what you thought. So you're the guy who goes over and talks to him.
Yeah, but like, you know, fuck those people, you know what I'm saying?
So do you bring Carrie some coffee or just pancakes?
I don't, dude. She bounces off the walls like with natural 4-year-old energy. Coffee would like, she would dive head first through a pane glass window on the 5th floor just to see if she could hover when she got to the bottom. See, Cole agrees with me.
That is actually
coffee,
Shadow.
bro.
That is Shane's cat. I'm making cold dinner. What's up, dude?
Shanathan?
Yeah, I'm just making Cole some dinner right now. He's getting to be a Nancy cat. But yeah. So Gary, you hear another knock at the door?
I would answer the exact same way, like a side peek through the door.
Miss Carrie, it's just me. I brought you some pancakes.
What's a pancake?
Oh, you don't know what a pancake is?
She would
Well,
like shake her head.
I think I need to observe this interaction right here. So like I'll hand Kiri like the plate, and there's just like hot cakes like stacked up. And I'm
So
like, all
not
right.
only are they hot cakes, but like they're like the good kind of pancakes where like they're crispy on the outside but fluffy on the inside. Like very warm and like slightly sweet with like a little bit of butter running down the sides.
Did I get syrup or no syrup?
No syrup.
So these are those like
Might as
good
well just
diner
die.
band cakes, not IHOP.
Yes. These are like diner pancakes that you would come like a couple towns over to get. They're worth it.
So she would kind of, I guess, gesture for you to come into the room because what are you gonna do? Stand in the doorway?
Yeah. So I'll walk. Flint walks into the room, and like, is there like a little desk or something like in the room, like a table, or no?
I feel like I would put the plate on the floor because I would probably share some with Anzu. So.
All right. Well, I hand you the plate.
So like I would put the plate on the floor and let Anzu out of the pouch, and then yeah. Go ahead.
Like as you start opening the crease of the pouch, you see Anzu like bolt out. Like he is like a straight line as he's in the air, like making a trajectory towards these pancakes. And you see like the feeding frenzy begin. So while you two are upstairs, Humboldt emerges from the back room downstairs and he sees Darrow, Skulker, and Scatha sitting there, and he goes, "Ah, my friends, good morning. How did you find the accommodations?"
Lovely.
Very nice.
Thank you. And he looks at you, Skulker, and he kind of gets like a shit-eating grin on his face. He's like, "How you doing, big guy?" Was that just a grunt?
That was a grunt. I have a feeling if
I'm
sunglasses
awake, aren't I?
if sunglasses existed, he'd be wearing them.
So Humboldt kind of just like chuckles to himself and like he sets a tankard of water down in front of each of you. You notice he filled Skulkers a little bit higher than the other two.
You would have sunglasses and like a vitamin water.
I would have the cloak up for sure, even indoors. But I 12 o'clock that fucking water too.
And he just like he thanks you all for your patronage, and he says, "Please, if you're ever staying in town again, come. Like, you're welcome to stay here. I believe we can work out a more suitable rate for your friends next time. Your presence here is most welcome." And you see now at this point that the two brothers who wrestled Skatha last night come out from the back room, and they're both like the same way the gnome maiden was like encumbered with plates. Like they both are encumbered with pancakes, and as they're setting their plates down, they both turn to go back to the room, and they see Skatha sitting at the bar. They're just like, "Hey!" And they start laughing. They go, "Skatha the Strong, how does this morning find you?"
It's your cue.
How does this morning find you?
I'm sorry, I had the mute on.
That's all good.
So Skatha chuckles and says, "Very, very well, my friends. And you?"
About as good as any other day, except today is Pancake Day. And they have like a little smile on their faces.
I see that. Boy, for such small people, you can eat a lot, huh?
They ask us where it all goes, and to be honest, we don't know what to tell them.
Well, enjoy your pancakes, my friends.
You too. Take care. You hear like a small thud hit the ground upstairs. You're not really sure what it is. Could have just been someone dropping some shit. Who knows? But
Well, Skulker's downstairs, so
out of character, I'd imagine it's the sound that like my cat is like a rather large cat, and when I'm downstairs, if he jumps off the bed upstairs, I can hear him hit the floor. Like just
yeah.
So that, for your out of character knowledge, that is Anzu.
I just heard a mew. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
He's
my
like,
little guy.
my bad.
That was Anzu hitting the floor and like just reckless devouring of these pancakes. And how long do you two spend upstairs before you reunite with everyone else?
Well, to give him the reaction he was looking for, like, Kiri would have like the biggest eyes, because like she's not
Because
used
your
to
bird eyes dilate like massively.
Yeah, as they like devour these pancakes with Anzu. Yeah.
I'm just imagining the Puss in Boots in Shrek 2 when he like
Exactly.
when he's like got the hat and he's like looking all cute before he like ravages his opponent. You know what I'm talking about? That one
Exactly.
scene.
The tricking with cutery.
Yes.
Yeah, and Flint just like lets out a deep belly laugh and he goes, "That was well worth the wait. I'll see you downstairs, Lady Kiri."
And then she would have her like mouth stuffed and like and then like keep stuffing it.
Also, out of character, real quick, Iga, did you come up with the idea for Anzu from the Dragon Prince?
No, actually.
Oh wow, because that's all I can think about when Anzu's in a scene.
But he's also a white dragon, so it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Maybe
Yeah.
you subconsciously correlated it too.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Sorry,
his full name is Anzor, but like I just call him Anzu for a pet name.
Oh no, I just meant like the idea to have like a little baby whelp.
Oh no, that wasn't even my idea. That was Connor's.
Ew, Connor's filthy for that, dude.
I mean, my need to shower is unknown at this point in time. It's purely speculative. So after about 5 minutes, after Flint leaves, about 5 minutes after he comes down, another 5 minutes after Kiri joins you all, you see the pouch like slung in front of her, awfully still. So you can only assume that Anzu's in there and being a good boy. And we have our party united for the first time today. Everyone has completed their breakfast and coffee and such.
damn it. Like, Kiri would definitely be like, good morning, meanwhile side glancing if everybody finished pancakes. Yeah.
There any left?
So we might want to go to the
Magistrate?
yes, that word first.
Yeah.
To check and see how many people have been turning in tongues recently, if they've heard anything about these underground tunnels, and then probably head to the chapel thing itself to get access to the tunnels and see they might be willing to pay us a little bit more if we say that we'll get rid of the problem rather than just treat it.
Hey, I like that idea.
I'm in.
So, knowing the layout of the town, you're actually going to walk past the abbey on your way to the magistrate.
Okay, so I guess we can reverse the order.
Let me just get this. I want to have this picture for you guys.
I was thinking to do magistrate first to gather some information about seeing if anyone else had been to the abbey yet, but we could just ask the abbey itself.
Wait, didn't Connor say the abbey was abandoned?
Currently. But
Yes.
there's
So
still, like, what's it called? Like, the abbey itself is barricaded from the outside in, but there are still, like, small, like, religious services and stuff being held outside the abbey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can ask one of the clergy peoples,
Yeah.
which I will not go near them, so you can go talk to them. I'm going to hide over here.
Alright, so, as we're approaching the abbey, it's a modest, it's the tallest building in town, built of stone, shingled roof. There's like a spire up top, but we can see that the door has been heavily barricaded. There's also a statue out front of the abbey. It is a statue of the goddess Duena. Did that picture work?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see here that it's actually like a fragmented statue being, what's it called? It's like suspended in the air with like a faint blue light sort of connecting all the pieces. And we see that there's a small tent with a couple of clergy members and town members like attending a service or like, you know, small religious things being discussed. However, there's one guy that distinctly looks in charge of the rest. His robes are like long and flowing. He does not have like a headpiece of any kind. They're simple white cloth, but they're very clean. And the way people sort of like move out of his way or like ask him things, like you get the sense that this guy is in charge.
What do you call brother? Would that be like the correct term?
Father.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, any term of respect, as long as you're not like, hey, fat ass, what's up? Like,
What race is he? Are they human?
he is a human male.
Yep.
Roughly 30
Just
years
to
old.
be clear, I am not approaching the temple.
Okay.
And of all of the symbols that I keep around my neck, I'm going to bring the Daiwa one out and hide the rest, but stay in the shadows.
Okay.
Kiri would probably be keeping around with Darrow. She's used to like staying behind, staying out of
Okay.
it.
And Scoth is behind Flint.
Okay. Skulker, where do you find yourself in all this?
Probably following the larger of the party that has more of a purpose, not thinking about it, is my guess.
Joshua?
What's up?
Are you staying with, like, hanging back with Darrow and Kiri, or are you venturing forwards?
I'll hang back. Normally I'd
Alright.
go forward, but you know.
A little groggy today.
The
Yeah,
sunlight
coming out of
hurts my eyes.
So, Flint and Scotha, as you're approaching, there's like a small, like, sort of like a tent, like a more of a canopy type thing because it doesn't have walls. There's like a small canopy, maybe 20-foot square, that's been set up outside the abbey here, and you see the like distinguished figure in like white robes. He like walks up to you and he says, Hello, my friends. I take it you are not from around here. I have not seen you here before.
You'd be correct. Good morning, brother. My name is Flint, and this here is my companion, Scatha.
Ah, Flint, Scatha. He looks at each of you as he says your name and does a small gesture.
Nods his head.
He does a small gesture where he crosses his pointer finger and middle finger while holding his ring finger and pinky finger down and holding them down with his thumb and puts them in front of his chest and bows his head slightly.
Dude, I just tried to do that and I just broke all my fingers.
Well, get some monodexterity. What's it? Sorry. He says may Dwayne bless you on this day. I am Brother Menlo. How can I help you today?
Nostalgia.
He's got a bald head, by the way.
It's nice to meet you, Brother Menlo. So, I am a part of a band of misfits that I like to get into a little bit of trouble every now and again. But as a lawman myself, it's hard for me to sit back and watch innocent lives get destroyed by the evil in this world. Now,
I see you've heard of our little problem.
I've been told that he starts shaking his head. He's like, I've been told in Yak's Bend that you might have yourselves a problem here underneath this abbey.
Yes, and he sort of trails off as he looks over his shoulder, and you see the barricaded abbey door, and he's like, it is quite a shame. A few days ago, probably 5 moons ago, the catacombs became overrun with gnolls. They have been spotted on the surface before, but I had no reason to believe they'd be under Greenwich Abbey. I'm quite concerned by this fact. It's a disturbing trend indeed. They seem to be getting more prevalent lately.
That is a very disturbing fact indeed. And my compatriots and I would be glad to get rid of them for you.
Get rid of them, you say? And he sort of raises an eyebrow and says we are unsure of the extent of this corruption, or rather, let me recon that. We are unaware of the extent of this infestation. A number or even precise location could not be given to you, nor does the church have, or nor does the abbey have any coin to spare for your trouble. I would hate to trouble a kind man like yourself with our problems. I would not want you to put yourself in harm's way for us.
Brother Menlo, you have to understand something.
So Scott tugs at Flint's jersey there and says, "Excuse me, Brother Menlo, I'd like to speak to my companion here for a second."
Yes, of course. He bows his head. Take your time. I will be here.
And so Scott turns to Flint and says, "First of all, I'm resisting the urge to rub that bald man's head. Number two, listen, they don't have the money, but the magistrates have the money, and this at least will be a fertile ground for us to get a whole bunch of, knoll tongues. So let's just help them out and get in there and chop them up. You know what I'm saying?"
Well, I like the way you think, dude.
I guess that's why you and I are going to be great friends, Scatha, because you basically just took the words right out of my goddamn mouth.
Okay, then.
So, I envision this, we're, trying to whisper, but we're, 2 feet away from the guy.
No, he's sort of you asked for a moment alone, so we sort of walked back to the rest of the clergy and the attendants and sort of just, doing other things.
When Flint said "God damn," did any of the brothers around him look up
they're... No, if he had, yelled it, maybe, but they're just, talking between themselves, so...
Wait, but would that even be, sacrilege in this world?
Which god is damning?
Exactly.
Oh, also, here is a picture of Menlo.
Menlo!
Oh, Menlo.
What is this, 2008? Sorry. Connor and I played a lot of Guild Wars together back in the day.
How I am,
It's that's a blast from the past.
Same.
Yeah, so I guess Flint would walk back over to brother Manlow, and he goes, excuse me, brother Menlo.
Yes,
I would just like to let you know that I've discussed it with my companion here, and we both agree that your money is no good to us anyway. We're doing this because there's an injustice in the world, and it needs to be righted.
and you see he sort of laughs to himself, and he says, well, it's a good thing we have no money to give, then. I would not reject the kindness. I would not reject the kindness that you are offering me, but I would advise you to take the most caution possible. The catacombs are a very dangerous place at the moment. Several of our clergymen were killed in the catacombs before the rest of us were aware of what was even happening, and no one has been back down since. The extent of the infestation is unknown.
Well, I think you're in good hands, brother Menlo. I can't think of a better group of adventurers in this general vicinity at this point in time that could help you out.
He says, very well. You see, he gestures towards the statue of Duena, and as you examine it a little more closely, you see that there's a small pool at the base of this statue that like the light is like emerging from. And he says, I would ask to bless anyone who would go into the anyone who would be entering the catacombs as a token of thanks and a measure of protection.
Well, I can tell you right.
I'm in.
I can tell you right now, brother Menlo, that there is one amongst us that would rather not be blessed, if that's okay with you.
That is his right.
Ha.
Duena loves all. She does not discriminate. Her light shines upon everyone equally. However, that is his or her wish. I would not infringe upon it.
So, is there like a back way into this place? Like, are we breaking down the barricade, or like, is there another way in?
No, I mean, it's been like barred in a way where like it, like they can unbar it and let you enter.
All right, so I guess Flint, I'd be like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get the rest of my party. And I like turn around, and Flint like turns around and like walks back to Skulkington of the Darrow-Kiri Nation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's up?
And I would say, well, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that we have some gnolls that need killing. Are you guys ready to do this?
Has anyone tried to go down there before? Are we the first?
No, there's been a couple of, what are they called? Fucking monastery men? Okay, yeah. Monastery men. Yeah. There have been a couple of clergymen that went down there and didn't end too well for them.
Just to clarify, like the clergymen were like just in the catacombs when the infestation occurred.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah. So then, let me retcon that. I do believe that we will be the first to go down to the catacombs since the infestation has occurred.
So the picking will be ripe.
You can say that again.
Yeah, let's get going.
The
Enough
picking will be
talking.
yeah. Scott is eager to fuck some shit up.
That's right. Let's go, bro.
He's like bleeding from the eyes.
Who's the best person to take point? Who's got the most ability to?
You.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I think if someone's looking to take point, that would probably be you.
All right. Well, let's go then. I'm ready.
All right.
He's like already walking towards the door.
Before we go, I must say one thing. The Khan brother has offered to bless all those who wish. And then, like, before you even say anything, Dara, I look at you and I'm like, don't worry, I already counted you out.
Good.
If you'd like to be blessed, meet over by the statue of Duena.
I'll just go over towards the barred up wooden door.
This
And the
is
rest
like
of you approach the
Yeah,
steps.
Scott is already first in line for the damn
This
blessing.
would be like
Let's
a.
get going, people.
This would be like a.
No,
That,
He's
Dad,
battling the rage is about to be
Dad, but you
upon him,
gotta
and he's
get blessed
battling
though,
it.
bro. You gotta get blessed. You're trying to take.
I know
Yeah,
he's
he's first
getting
in line.
blessed.
Okay.
um. Kiri would look at Darrow and it's kind of like, with a look, she would be like, "Is this actually okay?" Because like he's not doing it, and typically like she got used to the fact that like
I'll do the close the eyes and nod thing, like, and then like kind of the motion, like, yeah, you can go.
okay, like she should go because she's like used to just following Darrow at this point. Like he knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm doing the high school greaser leaning up against the side of the high school, like fucking nerds.
Tunnel snakes rule. Not my favorite flavor of holy water, but yeah. All right.
So I guess we'll get blessed, Connor.
All right, so Brother Menlo like is at the statue waiting for you all, and like he sort of looks over at Darrow, who is like, I take it probably cloaked and like such.
Yeah, cloaked, not looking directly at him.
All right, and he just goes, I take it that's the friend you spoke of.
You are very perceptive, Brother Menlo.
He just laughs to himself, and Scatha's first in line. So he sort of takes some water from the pool, and he says, like cupped in his hands, and he says, "May I see your axe, please?"
Certainly,
What is your name, friend?
Scatha.
Mother Duena, please bless Scatha with your light as he descends into the depths. And he sort of like uncups his hands over the axe, and your axe is radiating light now.
Nice.
He goes down the line. He asks each of you your name and your weapon, and each of you receive the same blessing. If you're looking for like stats or like meta, all of your weapons are now basically affected by a light cantrip. It will allow you to see in the dark. It will like create a light source for you. You don't have to worry about carrying a torch.
Yeah, not to carry a torch. I can use it two-handed.
I'm still hungover. I don't need more light. I was looking forward to dark vision.
Doesn't make a dang.
He Menlo like looks at you curiously, and like you see him like he takes a small whiff, and like he reaches back into the pool and grabs just a tiny bit more water and drizzles some on your head, and you feel your hangover just like melt away as the trickles are like running over your face.
Nice.
He says like, "Skulker, thank you for your help. Please, I hope this makes you feel better."
I mean, now I don't have an excuse to be grumpy, but thanks.
And
Skulker he just reaches into his back pocket, pulls out his flask, and takes another shot.
Menlo gives you all like a small smile and says like, once you're in the catacombs, you'll be completely cut off from the outside world. I
Sounds
trust you.
delightful.
You all are fully aware of the risk that you're taking.
If you're asking us to sign a waiver, Brother Menlo, we don't need to.
He laughs to himself.
Enough talking. Let's go, people.
All right, so he motions to some of the clergymen, and the door is unbarred, and the massive doors of the church swing open as you can like see that this place, like there's like a very, very, very fine layer of dust, and like the silence in here like leads you to believe that like this place has been still for probably like 5 days or so. The candles are unlit. There's an eerie quiet that sets about the abbey as you enter, and you see Menlo standing with you at the threshold. He says, well, this is where I must leave you. We will be barring the door behind you. Should you need to exit, merely bang and speak your names. We will see to it you're, you're relieved of being inside.
Released, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever the best way to word that would have been.
Sounds good, right?
Alright, so the doors close behind you, and you see, like, you get one last glimpse of Menlo. He's, like, smiling at you all, and he does the same gesture that he did before when he greets you, and it looks like he's saying a prayer as, the doors just sort of meet with, like, a heavy thud.
Roll for
And
initiative.
darkness, like, there's still light coming in the windows, but darkness, like, seeps into the church, and you can see that, like, you now get the full effect of like how bright your weapons actually are. You make your way towards the altar, and there's like your steps like echo eerily as like each step you take seems like the echoes echo almost. You walk past the altar, and you find your way to like a staircase that's like descending like deeper and deeper into the bowels of the earth.
We got the music.
You finally hit the landing of what you assume to be the catacombs. It's dark. You can smell mold and old flesh and moisture, and every noise in here sort of travels about like 3 times farther than it normally would. Everything is stone. There's small like sconces on the walls for torches, but you see that nothing is lit. And in the distance, you hear just one, like very faint but very distinct echoing from the bowels of the catacombs.
Yeah, that was filthy.
And,
I would like to cast Detect Good and Evil.
Bro, I'm right here. You can just ask me to stop laughing.
Do we look like Sarah? I guess the DJ bot left.
It's like, I can't compete. I can't compete.
There are no any of those within 30 feet of you.
Word.
So I don't want to be a boner kill, but that is where we're going to end tonight's session, with our heroes standing at the landing of...
Yo, bro!
I'm sorry. I planned to go further, but
I'm the worst. That's why.
It's neither here nor there as to why we started late. However...
there's no blame.
No, I'm the worst. It's fine.
Wait for next week to kick some ass.
Yeah, so next
Hey,
week...
you know, leaving right before combat is a great thing, because you're looking forward to it for next time.
Oh, man.
I think it'll be a good thing.
I'm going to blow some people
Are we
away,
done
bro.
or no?
Yeah, so that's where we're going to call it for tonight.
Yo,
I gotta get some
Firewater
dinner
level
in me.
up?
Far water level. No.
You were given free gifts, had a great night's sleep,
Yeah, I know.
and were given a light cantrip. Fuck it, level 3. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Not this time.
Earn it. Okay, gotcha.
We need to kill some shit first.
Yeah, let's.
I killed some brain cells. Lots of them, in fact.
Fair. That's fair. Well,
You have now reached level 1. Congratulations.
Anybody am I out or what's going on?
Dad?
What was that?
Hello?
We can hear you now.
Dad?
Nope.
Doesn't make a dad.
What are you quoting?
Bro, I have to show you guys this, just so that when I start saying it, you know what I'm talking about, because I'm part of a cult now, and it's great.
okay.
Tell Jedron I said hi. The first time you did that too, and you gave that pause, I'm like, oh no, he's even DCing at McDonald's, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
No. No.
The pause, just like,
Hold on, I'm gonna find something good. There's
All right,
like...
so on that note, I gotta dip. I got some
All
stuff
right.
I gotta do. But thank you all for
Dip it,
coming.
Dad.
I will catch you all next week, same place, same time.
Thank you
all
for running
same
that.
place,
Looking
all
forward
right.
to it.
Give Cole a
Can't
kiss.
Peace.
I will give
Bye.
Coleman kisses. Peace out, guys.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
Alright. Hold
Bye,
on.
Jim.
I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna mute myself so I can find the right place, and then I'm gonna send it to you in Discord, and I'll give you a timestamp.
Oh,
Is it on? If it's on YouTube, you could actually do it at that time. You could say, start at this.
No,
time.
but you gotta watch it too. So
I know.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna give you a timestamp. Hold on.
Okay. Oh boy. Alright, well, in that case, I'm just gonna end stream while I'm at it, so I'll mute myself real quick.
Bye, peoples.
Bye.
Bye, stream. Alright. So, well, that's gonna be it for the campaign this week. Campaign will be back. This campaign will be back on Monday next week. A little earlier than today. We were running a little bit late for undisclosed reasons. But till then, have a good morning, evening, and a night, depending where you're from. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.